us. Gurudev Shri Ravi Shankar ji has also arrived with us for this special conclave, and founder of ITV Network Kartikeya Sharma is with us today as well.
Just a small request to all of you to put your phones on silent as we are about to begin. Hello and a very warm welcome to everybody here. I'm Richa Kapoor from ITV Network, and by my side my colleague Uday Pratap Singh.
Good morning, namaskar to all of you here assembled. We're all set to launch the ITV Network Aakhri Boondh campaign at this special conclave here today at the Art of Living International Centre in Bengaluru.
It is noted that 33 crore people in India are short of water. 25% of India is facing drought, and around 54% of India has extreme water shortage. And cities like ours, Bengaluru, Delhi, are very soon going to run out of water. Therefore, we all need to treat every drop of water like it is the last one, like it is the Aakhri Boondh.
Absolutely. And a bit about why the Art of Living and ITV Network are natural partners for this event today. Art of Living Foundation has been part of a record river rejuvenation project. They have rejuvenated 41 dying rivers across the length and breadth of the nation, in fact, covering 4 states of India. They have helped over 4,000 villages to have access to water. And in fact, ITV Network as well, through the course of this campaign, Aakhri Boondh, that we're all launching here today in Bengaluru, has pledged 100 crore rupees. That's 1 lakh minutes of viewership time across 14 channels in 7 languages for this Aakhri Boondh initiative.
This is exactly why we are all gathered here today, as we understand that the ethos of ITV Network and Art of Living is just the same. We all pledge for the water and we pledge for Aakhri Boondh.
जी हाँ, ये बहुत महत्वपूर्ण मुहिम है, एक मुहिम जो हम सबको साथ मिलके आगे बढ़ाना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि आप सब याद रखें कि आपका अगला बूंद आपका आखिरी ना हो जाए. इसके लिए हम सबको प्रयत्न करना पड़ेगा. There's a pledge that ITV Network will be taking today. There's a pledge that Art of Living will be taking. And there's a pledge that all of us will take together. We'll, of course, tell you about that in a bit from now, because it will be a world record attempt as well. A world record attempt for water conservation.
We would like to call our dignitaries on stage to light the lamp. And we have with us...
Well, may I now begin today's program by inviting on stage Union Minister in the Government of India for Jal Shakti, Gajendra Singh Shekhawat ji. Gajendra Shekhawat ji, could you please join us on stage? Also, I request our host, Gurudev Shri Ravi Shankar ji, to also please join us on stage, and the founder of ITV Network, Kartikeya Sharma, could we please have you on stage as well? I also request, sir, to please be with us on stage for the lamp lighting, auspiciously beginning today's program of Aakhri Boondh. Could we have a warm round of applause for the commencement of today's program of Aakhri Boondh?
We'd request our dignitaries to please take place on the stage. Now I would request ITV founder, Mr. Kartikeya Sharma, to please have an opening address to the audience here.
I would like to thank everyone who has taken out time to be a part of this great initiative. It is an important day in the Aakhri Boondh campaign, as it is all set to take a giant leap towards saving every drop of water. The August gathering here gives us hope to the planet, Earth, and to the coming generations. A campaign of this magnitude needs the mature guidance, and who better than Shri Ravi Shankar Guruji to be the spiritual ambassador for this campaign. With his first-hand experience of seeing the problems in the world, many of which arise from confrontation over natural resources like water, his inputs will be a game changer. Not to mention his role as an influencer with thousands and millions of his followers committing for this cause, I welcome him. To change water scenario in the country, this campaign has to become a people's campaign. Each of us, every drop. Only then can water conservation become a reality in a huge country like us. It should start at our homes, whether it is being mindful about wasting water in the kitchen and shower or while watering plants. We will release a charter about water conservation, but I appeal to people, just don't restrict yourselves to that. Bring out the innovative skills in you to save water, more the merrier for the cause of water conservation. While the citizens are at heart of this conclave, a cause like saving water needs the help and active participation from the government. Ever since taking oath in 2014, Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi has given special emphasis on saving water. The effort started with the Herculean task of cleaning the Ganga through Namami Gange. And to inaugurate today's event, we have three prominent ministers. Union Minister for Chemical and Fertilizers, Shri Sadanand Gauraji, who will be joining us shortly. The Jal Shakti Mantri, Shri Gajendra Singh Shekhawat ji, and the Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka, young and dynamic Deputy Chief Minister, who will welcome shortly as well. I extend a warm welcome to all of them and all of you. Thank you for taking out time and being here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kartikeya Sharma, founder of ITV Network, for your opening comments. I would now like to invite on stage Gajendra Singh Shekhawat ji to please come to the podium. Gajendra Singh Shekhawat ji is the Union Minister for Jal Shakti in the Government of India. We welcome you, sir, for your opening remarks.
His Holiness, Param Pujniya Shri Ravi Shankar ji, सभागार में उपस्थित the CEO of the channel Kartikeya Sharma ji, सभागार में उपस्थित इजराइल के राजदूत और इस सभागार में उपस्थित सारे पितातुल्य बुजुर्ग, मातृशक्ति, युवा साथियों, यहाँ इस पवित्र प्रांगण में आकर के एक बात मैं आज विश्वास के साथ में कह सकता हूँ, गुरुदेव, कि हिंदुस्तान में बूंद आखिरी बूंद कभी नहीं होगी। निश्चित ही पानी का खतरा दुनिया के सामने बहुत बड़ी चुनौती है। जिस तरह से आबादी बढ़ी है एंड द इम्पैक्ट्स ऑफ क्लाइमेट चेंज जिस तरह से दिखाई दे रहे हैं पूरी दुनिया के सामने, लेकिन और क्योंकि भारत दुनिया का दूसरा सबसे बड़ा देश है, 18% आबादी दुनिया की हमारे पास है, लगभग 20% लाइव स्टॉक पॉपुलेशन भारत में है, और केवल 4% पानी भारत में है। बहुत बड़ी चुनौती, दुनिया की चुनौती के सामने भी देखें तो दुनिया से भी ज़्यादा बड़ी चुनौती शायद भारत के सामने है। लेकिन फिर भी मैं एक बार दोहराऊंगा कि भारत में आखिरी बूंद कभी नहीं होगी, और उसका कारण है, और कारण ये है कि भारत आज जिस मुकाम पर पहुंचा है, विज्ञान के योग क्षेत्र में, तकनीकी के क्षेत्र में, विकास के विभिन्न आयाम जितने भी हो सकते हैं, या दुनिया में सफलता जिन आंकड़ों से, जिन पैरामीटर्स पर आंकी जाती है, उन सारे पैरामीटर्स पर भारत देश के नागरिक जो सम्मान हम 130 करोड़ भारतीयों को बार बार जिस सम्मान के साथ में जीने का अधिकारी बनाते हैं, और आज राष्ट्र 70 साल में या 100 साल में प्रगति करते हुए जिस मुकाम पर पहुंचा है, निश्चित ही सरकारों ने, सब सरकारों ने, जो कोई भी कभी भी जो सरकार रही होगी, अपने अपने दृष्टिकोण से इस मुकाम तक देश को पहुंचाने के लिए बहुत बड़ा योगदान किया होगा। लेकिन इसका और अधिक बारीकी से यदि अध्ययन करें तो जिस किसी भी ऐसे पैरामीटर या इंडिकेटर पर सामाजिक संस्थाओं ने या समाज को लीड करने वाले ऐसे इन्फ्लुएंसर्स ने जब उस क्षेत्र की कमान संभाली और उसमें काम करना प्रारंभ किया, तो निश्चित ही उस क्षेत्र ने और भी ज़्यादा प्रगति की है। ऐसे सामाजिक संस्थाओं ने जो काम किया है, उसने राष्ट्र के निर्माण में, राष्ट्र को इस मुकाम तक, इस आयाम तक पहुंचने में एक बहुत बड़ा योगदान किया है। और उसी योगदान की ताकत पर आज मैं कह सकता हूं कि जब मैं बेंगलुरु के इस पवित्र प्रांगण में खड़ा होता हूं और मैं देखता हूं कि किस तरह से पानी को लेकर, विषय को लेकर के ऐसे समाज के इन्फ्लुएंसर लोग, हिज हॉलीनेस श्री श्री रवि शंकर जी से लेकर के, दक्षिण भारत में यदि मैं देखूं जगी वासुदेव जी से लेकर के अनेक लोग, कॉरपोरेट सेक्टर के लोग, और समाज का प्रत्येक व्यक्ति जब इस दृष्टिकोण से सोचने लग जाए, जब जन की चर्चा और चिंता का विषय कोई भी विषय, आज हम जल के विषय में बात कर रहे हैं, जब कोई भी विषय जन की, आम जन की चर्चा और चिंता का विषय बन जाए, तो उस विषय की सफलता को 100% सुनिश्चित होती है, कोई उसको रोक नहीं सकता। और भारत के परिप्रेक्ष्य में ये और भी ज़्यादा महत्वपूर्ण इसलिए है कि हमें लगभग 4000 बिलियन क्यूबिक मीटर्स पानी हर साल बरसात के या बर्फ के माध्यम से मिलता है। वॉट एवर द रेनफॉल एंड द स्नोफॉल व्हाट वी गेट, एंड अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट द वाटर विच वी रिसीव फ्रॉम द इंटरनेशनल बेसिन्स फ्रॉम नेपाल एंड चाइना एंड तिब्बत। जो पानी हमको मिलता है 4000 बिलियन क्यूबिक मीटर्स, जो जियो स्पेशियल कंडीशंस हैं उसके आधार पर लगभग 2000 बिलियन क्यूबिक मीटर्स उसमें से पानी जो है हार्वेस्टेबल है। लेकिन आप सबको आश्चर्य होगा कि देश के सबसे बड़े बांध से लेकर के और गांव का सबसे छोटा पोखर, क्योंकि मैं देख रहा था जब परम पूजनीय गुरुजी जब मुझे दिखा रहे थे झील, ये तो बहुत बड़ी है, गांव का छोटे से छोटा पोखर जिसकी कल्पना कर सकते हैं, छोटा सा तालाब, द स्मॉलेस्ट साइज ऑफ पॉन्ड जिसकी आप कल्पना कर सकते हैं, उन सब को अगर मैं जोड़ दूं तो भी भारत की कुल सरफेस पर वाटर होल्डिंग कैपेसिटी इज लेस देन 250 BCM अगेंस्ट 2000 BCM वाटर व्हाट वी रिसीव्ड एवरी ईयर। एंड मैंने अभी थोड़े दिन पहले गुरुजी मुझे माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने अवसर दिया कि मैं देश के सांसदों के सामने ये विषय रखूं। मैंने एक प्रश्न पूछा कि हमारे देश का सबसे बड़ा बांध कौन सा है। जिस क्षेत्र से लोग आए थे उन्होंने अपने अपने क्षेत्र के बांध को सबसे बड़ा मानते हुए ऐसे उदाहरण दिए। किसी ने कहा श्रीशैलम बांध सबसे बड़ा है, कुछ लोगों ने कहा कि हमारा जो है भाखड़ा नांगल बांध बड़ा है, सरदार सरोवर के बारे में गुजरात के लोगों ने चर्चा की, हर एक ने अपने दृष्टिकोण से बताया। मैंने उनको बताया कि देश का सबसे बड़ा बांध जो है वो हमारी धरती माता है। सबसे ज़्यादा पानी यदि कहीं रिटेन होता है और किया जा सकता है वो इस धरती के अंदर किया जा सकता है। आज भी जो हमारी कुल मिलाकर के जो हमको पानी मिलता है, जैसा मैंने कहा 250 बिलियन क्यूबिक मीटर हमारी जो है वाटर होल्डिंग कैपेसिटी ओवर द ग्राउंड है, और उसको अगर मैं एक्यूमुलेट करूँ जो पेरिनियल रिवर्स पर बने हुए हैं उसमें भी तो जो वैज्ञानिक जो मानते हैं उसके हिसाब से लगभग 1.5 टाइम्स पानी हमको मिलता है। 375 BCM पानी हमारा जो है टोटल यूटिलाइजेबल वाटर दैट कम्स थ्रू द सरफेस रिजर्वायर्स, बट उसमें से एवोपरेशन लॉसेज ये वो थ्रू द कैनाल्स में जब जाता है, लीकेज सीपेज सब मिला लूँ तो रेवेन्यू वाटर अगेन इट कम्स टू 250 BCM. But the Mother Earth gives us 450 billion cubic meters of water every year and that is replenishable. But what we are doing, हम ओवरड्रॉ कर रहे हैं लगभग 1.5 गुना, 750 बिलियन क्यूबिक मीटर्स पानी हम एक साथ निकालते हैं। दुनिया में ज़मीन में से कुल जितना पानी निकाला जाता है उसका 25% से ज़्यादा अकेले भारत में हम निकालते हैं, 25% पूरी दुनिया का। और जितना पानी कुल हमें ज़मीन पे आज से हमको मिलता है, पानी ज़मीन में जितना आज की तारीख में समाहित होता है उससे 1.5 गुना पानी हम निकाल रहे हैं। एंड सिंस आर 65% डिपेंडेबिलिटी इज अपॉन अंडरग्राउंड वाटर, सो दैट इज़ द मोस्ट क्रिटिकल एरिया वेयर वी हैव टू वर्क। एंड आई एम सो ग्लैड, सो हैप्पी कि जब मैं सुनता हूँ कि 42 नदियों पर एक साथ गुरुदेव के नेतृत्व में 42 नदियों पे एक साथ रिवर रिजर्वेशन पे काम हो रहा है। यही मुझे लगता है कि यही एक मार्ग है। इजराइल के एम्बेसडर यहाँ बैठे हैं, हाई कमिश्नर। इजराइल लगभग हम लोग सब साथ साथ में अस्तित्व में आए, भारत को आज़ाद हम हुए, अस्तित्व में आने की चर्चा तो मुझे नहीं करनी चाहिए। 1947 में हम आज़ाद हुए, 1945 में इजराइल हमारे साथ साथ में अस्तित्व में आया। इजराइल देश में 110 मिलीमीटर लगभग एवरेज बरसात होती है, 110 मिलीमीटर्स एवरी ईयर इन इजराइल दैट द रेनफॉल इज। पूरा इजराइल का लगभग 3/4 हिस्सा जो है वो एकदम सूखा है, एरिड एरिया है, और सेमी एरिड है, एंड द रिमेनिंग लैंड इज ए मार्शी लैंड। लेकिन इजराइल ने दुनिया में एक नज़ीर पेश की, दुनिया में एक मिसाल कायम की, और आज इजराइल जो है दुनिया में वाटर एक्सपोर्टिंग नेशन का दर्जा प्राप्त कर चुका है। दे आर एक्सपोर्टिंग ड्रिंकिंग वाटर टू देयर नेबरिंग कंट्रीज जॉर्डन एंड सीरिया। कैसे कर पाए? द फादर ऑफ द नेशन, द फर्स्ट प्रेसिडेंट बेन गुरियन साहब, व्हेन ही एड्रेस्ड हिज इंजीनियर्स कि हमको अगर पानी का समाधान खोजना है तो डेजर्ट में जाकर के ढूंढना पड़ेगा, और इजराइल की जो परिस्थिति है कि ओशन ऑफ गैलिली, जो सी ऑफ गैलिली है, वहाँ से लेकर के पानी वो जो है डाउन साउथ में लेकर के पानी लेकर के आते हैं। उस ट्रंक लाइन को, कि उस ट्रंक लाइन में से पानी चोरी नहीं हो, रिसाव नहीं हो, उसके लिए दे आर डिप्लॉयड लोगों को कि हर एक आधा किलोमीटर तक कोई ना कोई लोग का आदमी लगाया हुआ था जो पानी की उस पाइपलाइन की चिंता करता था कि उसमें से कहीं लीक नहीं हो। एक जगह पानी में से ड्रॉप्स गिर रही थी, और उस ड्रॉप्स वहाँ पे एक छोटा सा पौधा खड़ा था, वो पौधा धीरे धीरे बनते बनते बड़ा पेड़ बन गया, और उन्होंने पाया कि अगर पानी की सुरक्षा प्राप्त करनी है तो हमको इरिगेशन पैटर्न को चेंज करना पड़ेगा। 1962 दे अडेप्टेड ड्रिप इरिगेशन सिस्टम, और उसके कारण से उनका पानी की खपत जो है वो सबसे कम हो गई। अभी मैं परम पूजनीय गुरुजी से बात कर रहा था कि डिमांड साइड मैनेजमेंट पर तो हमको काम करना पड़ेगा, और मुझे अत्यंत प्रसन्नता है कि यहाँ केवल सप्लाई साइड के साथ साथ में डिमांड साइड मैनेजमेंट पर भी काम किया जा रहा है। ये तो दुनिया में जो पानी की प्रोडक्टिविटी की दृष्टिकोण से अगर हम देखें तो दुनिया में सबसे ज़्यादा पानी किसी एक फसल को उगाने के लिए अगर उपयोग होता है तो वो हिंदुस्तान में होता है। 1 किलो चावल उगाने के लिए हमको 5600 लीटर पानी की ज़रूरत पड़ती है, जबकि चीन उतना ही चावल, 1 किलो चावल 350 लीटर पानी में उगाता है। और दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण यह है कि ये टेक्नोलॉजी कि इतने कम पानी में चावल उगाया जा सकता है, 20 साल पहले हमारे वैज्ञानिक इन्वर्ट कर चुके हैं, लेकिन हम आज तक भी उसको डिसेमिनेट नहीं कर पाए, उसको फार्मर तक नहीं पहुंचा पाए। ज़रूरत है कि हम उस दृष्टिकोण से काम करें। लेकिन इजराइल ने केवल पानी बचाने से नहीं, दूसरी काम है कि हम पानी का रिसाइकल कैसे कर सकते हैं, रीयूज कैसे कर सकते हैं। वाटर कंजर्वेशन कैन बी वन आइडिया। आई कम फ्रॉम द स्टेट ऑफ राजस्थान, जहाँ देश में सबसे कम बरसात होती है, बिल्कुल सुदूर पश्चिम रेगिस्तान, जैसलमेर और जोधपुर। अगर आप में से कुछ लोगों को जाने का अवसर मिला हो, मैं उस क्षेत्र का निवासी हूँ, और मेरे यहाँ ट्रेडिशनली एक बूंद जो पानी गिरता था बरसात का, उस बूंद, हर बूंद पानी को अंडरग्राउंड रिजर्वायर में हमारे यहाँ सहेजने की सिस्टम था, उसको हम टांका कहते थे। और 12 महीने 365 दिन वो जो एक बरसात में पानी घर में इकट्ठा होता था, उससे 12 महीने उस घर के पीने का पानी, रसोई का पानी और बाकी महिलाओं के बाल धोने का पानी, इन 3 के काम का पानी उसी से उपयोग होता था। गांव की जो कॉमन रिसोर्स प्रॉपर्टी थी, गांव का तालाब था, उस तालाब का जो कैचमेंट एरिया था, पूरा गांव उसकी रक्षा करता था। उसकी सफाई, उसकी शुचिता, उसकी पवित्रता, सब कुछ बनी रहे, गांव उसकी, पूरे गांव उसकी जिम्मेदारी के साथ में काम करता था। और वो व्यवस्था जो है पूरे गांव को वाटर सस्टेनेबिलिटी पूरे साल भर के लिए देती थी, जबकि बरसात कुल मिलाकर के 150 मिलीमीटर होती थी। लेकिन ये व्यवस्थाएं धीरे धीरे टूट गई। मैंने एक बार अपनी दादी माँ से पूछा कि पानी इस भारत देश में, जहां जल को जगदीश माना गया, नदियों को देवी के रूप में पूजा गया, तालाबों की पूजा की गई, वाटर रिसोर्सेज को भगवान के रूप में माना गया, उस देश में ये परिस्थिति क्यों आई? तो उन्होंने एक बहुत, वो कम पढ़ी लिखी महिला थी, उन्होंने बहुत अच्छा उत्तर दिया। उन्होंने कहा कि पानी जब से नल से घर में आने लगा, तब से हमने जो है, क्योंकि वो रोज घर में आने लग गया, इसलिए उसकी इज्जत कम हो गई, उसकी प्रतिष्ठा कम हो गई। पहले हमको उसे सहेजना पड़ता था, उसे संभालना पड़ता था, वो रोज अपने आप घर में आता है, इसलिए उसकी इज्जत खत्म हो गई है। हमको वापस उसकी इज्जत की, उसको प्रतिष्ठा को वापस स्थापित करना पड़ेगा। एक एक बूंद जो पानी बरसात से आती है, उसको हमको सहेजना पड़ेगा। एंड द सेकेंड थिंग इज रिसाइकल ऑफ वाटर, रीयूज ऑफ वाटर। इजराइल, क्योंकि इजराइल के जो है यहाँ हाई कमिश्नर यहाँ बैठे हैं, इसलिए मेरे मन में ये विषय आया। इजराइल 94% पानी को रिसाइकल करता है। जितना पानी उनके घर से निकलता है, आपके और मेरे घर में से जितना पानी हम टोटल इनलेट होता है, उसमें से वापस लगभग 80% पानी वापस घर से बाहर निकलता है। उस 80% पानी को इजराइल, पूरे पानी को, लगभग 94% पानी को वापस रिसाइकल करके रीयूज करता है। एंड आप लोगों को आश्चर्य होगा कि उसके बाद में दुनिया में सेकंड नंबर पर जो देश है, उसकी रिसाइकलिंग कैपेसिटी 34% है। हमारे यहाँ तो टोटल इंस्टॉल्ड कैपेसिटी अभी 20% से कम है, और अगर मैं टोटल उस इंस्टॉल्ड कैपेसिटी का प्रैक्टिकल यूटिलाइजेशन के लेवल पर जाऊँ तो 10% है। और वो कारण है कि हमारी नदियाँ जो है आज दुनिया की सबसे पॉल्यूटेड नदियाँ हैं। हमारी नदियाँ सबसे ज़्यादा जो है, जिनके पानी की क्वालिटी इंडेक्स पर सबसे पुअर है, इसलिए हमको रिसाइकल के ऊपर काम करना पड़ेगा। सरकार ने उस दृष्टिकोण से काम करना प्रारंभ किया। अभी कार्तिकेय चर्चा कर रहे थे गंगा नदी की, गंगा की शुद्धता के लेकर के, पवित्रता को लेकर के माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के नेतृत्व में जिस तरह से काम करना प्रारंभ किया, 5 साल के इस मिशन मोड के काम में आज मैं ये कह सकता हूँ, इस मंच पर खड़े होकर के पूरी जिम्मेदारी के साथ मैं कह सकता हूँ कि 2000 किलोमीटर से ज़्यादा लंबाई की नदियाँ, पूरी दुनिया की 2000 किलोमीटर से ज़्यादा की लंबाई की नदियों में 10 पहली साफ नदियों में आज हमारी गंगा नदी है। और मैं अभी गुरुदेव को कह रहा था कि अब जब आप अगले कुंभ में जाएंगे तो आप गंगोत्री से लेकर के और हरिद्वार तक कहीं भी पानी उठा करके आचमन कर सकते हैं। ऐसी परिस्थिति गंगा की होगी, ये मैं आज यहाँ पूरे विश्वास के साथ में कह सकता हूँ। 2 दिन पहले हम कानपुर में थे। कानपुर में नेशनल गंगा काउंसिल की मीटिंग थी। प्रधानमंत्री जी को बताया गया कि किस तरह से हमने गंगा में, कानपुर में जो पोल्यूशन होता था टैनरीज के कारण से, और एक बहुत बड़ा नाला जो एशिया का सबसे बड़ा सूवेज डिस्पोजल इन, डायरेक्ट डिस्पोजल इन रिवर था, 128 साल से 14 करोड़ लीटर पानी प्रतिदिन रॉ सूवेज सीधा गंगा नदी में जाता था। आज एक बूंद भी पानी नहीं जाता। जिस कानपुर के गंगा नदी के पानी में एक भी किसी भी तरह का जीव नहीं था, क्योंकि वहाँ डिजॉल्व्ड ऑक्सीजन 0 पर था। आज डिजॉल्व ऑक्सीजन जो है वहाँ 8-9 से ऊपर है, और इतनी बड़ी बड़ी मछलियाँ प्रधानमंत्री जी ने खुद कल देखी हैं, परसों अपने आंखों से देखी है जाकर के। हम उस दृष्टिकोण से काम कर रहे हैं, लेकिन सब नदियों पर एक साथ इस दिशा में काम करने की आवश्यकता है। और जैसा मैंने कहा, मुझे अत्यंत प्रसन्नता है कि गुरुदेव के नेतृत्व में संस्थान 42 नदियों पर काम कर रहा है, और मुझे लगता है कि यही एक प्रेरणा बनेगी कि पूरा देश इस दृष्टिकोण से काम करने लगेगा। तीसरा जो विषय है, रिसाइकल के बाद में, रीयूज के बाद में जो तीसरा विषय है, वो विषय है कि हम वाटर यूज एफिकेसी को बढ़ाएं। जैसा मैंने प्रारंभ में चर्चा की क्या हमारे पानी जो है सबसे लीस्ट प्रोडक्टिव वाटर है। हमको इस दिशा में काम करने की आवश्यकता है और इस दिशा में काम केवल सरकार के माध्यम से नहीं हो सकता। समाज का प्रत्येक व्यक्ति इस दायित्व को समझे और इस रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी को अपने कंधों पर लेकर के काम करना प्रारंभ करेंगे, तभी इस दिशा में काम हो सकता है। निश्चित ही सरकार की कुछ योजनाएं भी उसके लिए उत्तरदायी हो सकती हैं। माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के नेतृत्व में हम उन सब योजनाओं के वापस पुनर्विचार करते हुए उस दृष्टिकोण से काम कर रहे हैं, लेकिन समाज को इसमें साथ आना पड़ेगा। एंड द फोर्थ थिंग इज यूज ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी, व्हाट Israel have used, and whosoever wish to have attain the water sovereignty और वाटर सिक्योरिटी, उनको उसको टेक्नोलॉजी के ऊपर काम करना पड़ेगा। जैसा मैंने कहा कि 65% हमारी डिपेंडेबिलिटी जो है वो अंडरग्राउंड वाटर पर है, ज़मीन के पानी के ऊपर है। और उस 65% डिपेंडेबिलिटी होने के कारण से आज हमारे अंडरग्राउंड वाटर रिसोर्सेज जो मिलियंस ईयर्स में जो है वो रिचार्ज बने थे, एक्वाफर्स बने थे, वो एक्वाफर्स जो हैं वो ड्राई अप हो रहे हैं। 6,881 ब्लॉक्स जिनको हम मॉनिटर करते हैं रेगुलर लेवल पे, उसके 24% ब्लॉक्स, 1511 से ज़्यादा ब्लॉक्स जो हैं वो सेमी क्रिटिकल या क्रिटिकल या ओवर एक्सप्लॉइटेड की कंडीशन में आज हैं। निश्चित ही बहुत बड़ी चुनौती है। कार्तिकेय से जब मैं बात कर रहा था, इन्होंने चिंता व्यक्त की और लोकसभा में मुझे बहुत बार प्रश्नों का उत्तर देना पड़ता है कि नीति आयोग ने एक रिपोर्ट किया है कि 21 शहर जो हैं वो डे ज़ीरो की स्थिति में आ जाएंगे, वहाँ पानी नहीं होगा। हालांकि मैं उनकी उस रिपोर्ट से व्यक्तिगत रूप से सहमत नहीं हूँ, क्योंकि जिन 21 शहरों का उन्होंने उल्लेख किया उसमें से 16 शहर ऐसे हैं जिनमें ड्यूअल बेस ऑफ वाटर सप्लाई है, ड्यूअल सोर्स ऑफ वाटर सप्लाई है, जहाँ ज़मीन का पानी केवल 5% ही है। चाहे वो दिल्ली हो, चाहे जयपुर हो, चाहे मेरा शहर जोधपुर हो या और कोई भी शहर हो, वहाँ दोहरे सोर्सेज से पानी आता है। इसलिए ऐसी डे ज़ीरो जैसी कंडीशन कम से कम आने वाले समय में वहाँ नहीं आएगी। लेकिन फिर भी देश में भूजल का जो है, ज़मीन का जल समाप्त हो रहा है, कम हो रहा है, और ये बहुत बड़ी चिंता का विषय है। और यदि उस स्थिति को उल्टा करना है तो केवल टेक्नोलॉजी के माध्यम से किया जा सकता है। सिंस अंडरग्राउंड वाटर रिजर्वायर्स एंड अंडरग्राउंड वाटर सोर्सेज आर इनविजिबल सोर्सेज, हम उनको देख नहीं सकते, इसलिए आम व्यक्ति को जो ज़मीन से पानी निकालता है, चाहे वो इंडस्ट्री निकाल रही है, चाहे किसान निकाल रहा है, या हम घर के उपयोग के लिए निकाल रहे हैं, हमको ये जानकारी नहीं है कि हमारी ज़मीन में कितना पानी है। हम ये सोचते हैं कि ज़मीन में पानी, अथाह पानी है, हमारा काम चल रहा है, निकल रहा है, एक थोड़ा नीचे चला गया है, एक पानी का पाइप और डाला जा सकता है, 10-20 फीट डेप्थ में पानी डालेंगे, मिलता रहेगा अगली जनरेशन तक। लेकिन वो पानी लगातार समाप्त हो रहा है। और समस्या ये थी कि देश में एक्वाफर्स की स्टडी नहीं थी। एंड मैं यहाँ खड़े होकर के धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूँ माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी को, और मुझसे पहले जिन्होंने इस मंत्रालय को संभाला, आदरणीय नितिन गडकरी जी को, कि उन्होंने देश का एक्वाफर मैपिंग प्रोग्राम शुरू किया। और मैं यहाँ खड़े होकर प्रसन्नता के साथ मैं कह सकता हूँ कि 10 लाख स्क्वायर किलोमीटर का एक्वाफर मैपिंग हम कर चुके हैं। और हम स्टेट्स को आने वाले समय में 3D मैपिंग के साथ में जो है 3D कंटूर्ड मैपिंग, सरफेस मैपिंग के साथ साथ में सारे स्टेट्स को, और जो 256 स्ट्रेस डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स हैं जहां सबसे ज़्यादा चुनौती है, जहां अंडरग्राउंड वाटर्स आज की तारीख में क्रिटिकल स्थिति में, उन 256 जिलों का आने वाले अप्रैल 2020 तक हम उनको ओवर द सरफेस 3D मैपिंग और अंडर द सरफेस जो है एक्वाफर का मैपिंग करके हम उनको देंगे कि आप इसके आधार पर अपनी जो है एक्वाफर रिचार्ज की प्लानिंग करें। और वहाँ केवल सरकारें नहीं कर पाएंगी, क्योंकि दुनिया का, जैसे मैंने इजराइल की बात की, जहाँ कहीं भी सफलता मिली है वहाँ पीपल्स पार्टिसिपेशन वाज द की फैक्टर। और अपने देश में भी हम इजराइल को अगर इजराइल के उदाहरण को एक तरफ छोड़ दें, भारत में भी हमको सब तरह की सक्सेस स्टोरीज देखने को मिलेंगी। इंडिविजुअल ड्रिवन, एक आदमी ने खड़ा होकर के काम करना प्रारंभ किया। मैं अनेक उदाहरण ऐसे दे सकता हूं। एक आदमी लक्ष्मण सिंह, राजस्थान में गांव लामपोड़िया, बिल्कुल बिना पढ़ा आदमी, 30 साल पहले उस आदमी ने अपने गांव में, जिस गांव की परिस्थिति ये थी कि उस गांव में पीने का पानी एक बूंद भी नहीं था, जमीन का पानी इतना खारा था कि चिड़िया अगर बाहर निकाल के रख दें, पी ले तो वो मर जाएगी। इतने खारे पानी का गांव, बरसात के पानी पर निर्भर, कहीं कोई किसी तरह का पानी का कोई सोर्स नहीं। उन्होंने अपने गांव में एक चौका सिस्टम की, खेत के किनारे पर 1 फीट गहरा और लगभग 20 फुट चौड़ा और 50-60 फुट लंबा ऐसे जो है ट्रेंचेस बनाई जिसमें बरसात का पानी रन ऑफ होकर के भरता था। 30 साल बाद में मैं खुद पूरी जिम्मेदारी के साथ में कह सकता हूँ वो गांव वाटर सिक्योर गांव है। उस गांव में 3 फसल की क्रॉप्स होती हैं, कुओं में पानी है और पूरी घास होती है। और केवल वो एक गांव नहीं, तो लक्ष्मण सिंह की प्रेरणा से केवल वो एक गांव नहीं, उस लामपोड़िया गांव, छोटा सा गांव, शायद 700-800 हज़ार लोगों की आबादी होगी, उससे प्रेरणा लेकर के गुरुदेव 58 गांव उसके आसपास के जो हैं वो वाटर सिक्योर हो गए। पंचायत ड्रिवन जो भी ऐसी ढूंढी जा सकती हैं, रालेगंज सिद्धि से लेकर के, और मैं बहुत सारे हिवड़े बाजार तक, इसके अतिरिक्त भी बहुत सारे उदाहरण दे सकता हूँ। समय की सीमितता है, मुझे बहुत लंबा नहीं करना चाहिए। संस्थाओं के द्वारा किया हुआ, मुझे लगता है कि इससे बेहतर जगह नहीं हो सकती और इससे बेहतर उदाहरण नहीं हो सकता कि एक संस्था ने खड़े होकर के काम हाथ में लिया, 42 नदियों का पुनरुद्धार कर दिया। मुझे लगता है कि इससे सुंदर उदाहरण नहीं हो सकता। मैं खड़े होकर के कहीं बात करूं। राज्यों ने भी इस दिशा में काम किया। मैं जिस राज्य से आता हूं, राजस्थान, उस राज्य में मुख्यमंत्री जल स्वावलंबन योजना पिछली सरकार ने ली। राजस्थान जो सबसे ज़्यादा ड्राई स्टेट है, जहां सबसे ज़्यादा वाटर स्ट्रेस कंडीशन है, अंडरग्राउंड वाटर्स की कंसर्न, सरकार ने तय किया, एक जन आंदोलन के रूप में उसको बनाया। सरकार के प्रत्येक व्यक्ति से लेकर के हर गांव पंचायत के चुने हुए प्रतिनिधियों से लेकर के प्रत्येक व्यक्ति को उसके साथ में जोड़ा। और मैं गर्व के साथ में ये बात कह सकता हूं कि राजस्थान में जो डाउन टर्न पानी, जमीन का पानी कम होने का जो क्रम था वो उल्टा हुआ है। और राजस्थान में पिछले 5 साल में 1 मीटर पर एनम की रेट से ओवरऑल पूरे राजस्थान में वाटर टेबल राइज होने लगा। इट्स एन एग्जाम्पल। स्टेट ड्रिवन का जो है सुजलाम सुफलाम गुजरात में किया। महाराष्ट्र की सरकार ने अपने यहाँ पर जलयुक्त शिविर कार्यक्रम किया। जिन जिलों में यह कार्यक्रम हुआ निश्चित रूप से वहाँ प्रगति हुई है। आंध्र प्रदेश ने नीरू चेट्टू कार्यक्रम लिया। अनेक प्रदेशों ने अपने अपने दृष्टिकोण से कार्यक्रम लिया। जिस सरकार ने इस दृष्टिकोण से काम किया, इस पूरे मिशन मोड में काम किया, वहाँ परिवर्तन सामने आया। इसलिए ऐसे सारे उदाहरण, लेकिन अब समय है कि इनको बहुत तेजी से आगे विस्तार करने की आवश्यकता है। कोई भी किसी भी मिशन की सफलता के लिए जो 4-5 चीजों की आवश्यकता है। पहली आवश्यकता है कि पॉलिटिकल विल हो। हम सब ने देखा है, कार्तिकेय अभी अपनी बातचीत में बता रहे थे कि माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने दूसरी बार प्रधानमंत्री बनने के बाद में 30 जून को जब पहली बार मन की बात में अपने मंच जो है रेडियो के माध्यम से देश को चर्चा की, पानी के विषय में गंभीरता के साथ में उन्होंने बात की, पानी के विषय की गंभीरता को उन्होंने देश के सामने रखा। उसके बाद 2.5 लाख सरपंचों को सीधे पत्र लिख करके गांव का पानी गांव में और खेत का पानी खेत में कैसे रोका जा सकता है, इसके लिए डेडिकेटेड ग्राम सभा करने का आह्वान किया। 1.5 से 2 लाख के बीच में ऐसी ग्राम सभाएं हुई। परिणाम आया, जल शक्ति अभियान लिया। देश के सारे जो है जॉइंट सेक्रेटरी एंड अबाव ऐसे सारे ऑफिसर्स को इकट्ठा करके उनके साथ में टेक्निकल टीम्स को जोड़ करके 256 स्ट्रेस डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स में एक टीम भेजी गई। 1 करोड़ से ज़्यादा जो MIS पे जो स्टेट्स ने रिपोर्ट किया, मैं कह सकता हूं 1 करोड़ से ज़्यादा ट्रेडिशनल वाटर बॉडीज को रिजुविनेट करने के लिए और 1 करोड़ से ज़्यादा नए वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग स्ट्रक्चर या नए जमीन में पानी जा सके उसके लिए स्ट्रक्चर्स बनाने का काम 3 महीने में हुआ। केवल जन आंदोलन बनाने के विषय। सरकार पॉलिटिकल विल हो, पब्लिक स्पेंडिंग हो कि सरकार पैसा खर्च करना प्रारंभ करे। देश की सरकार ने घर घर तक पानी पहुंचाने के लिए माननीय मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में जो प्रोग्राम लिया है, हर घर जल जीवन मिशन, देश में 18 करोड़ कुल मिलाकर के ग्रामीण परिवार हैं। आपको आश्चर्य होगा कि आज 70 साल के बाद में भी केवल 1800 में से घर ऐसे हैं, ओनली 18% ऑफ द फैमिलीज आर हैविंग फंक्शनल हाउस होल्ड टैप वाटर एक्सेस इन देयर होम्स। केवल 18%, 3 करोड़ परिवार है। और प्रधानमंत्री जी का संकल्प है कि अगले 5 साल में हम हर एक घर तक पीने का पानी पहुंचाएंगे। और ये केवल संकल्प सिर्फ पीने का पानी पहुंचाने के लिए नहीं, उसके साथ में सोर्स सस्टेनेबिलिटी को इंश्योर करें और साथ में जो ग्रे वाटर घर से निकलेगा उस ग्रे वाटर के ट्रीटमेंट करके उसका वापस रीयूज हो, इसके साथ में इंटीग्रेटेड पार्ट ऑफ दिस स्कीम जोड़ा। 3.25 लाख करोड़ रुपए की स्कीम जो की है, बजटरी एलोकेशन के साथ में एक काम प्रारंभ किया है। और तीसरी चीज है पार्टनरशिप्स। और पार्टनरशिप्स तो फिर मैं ये कहूँगा कि जब मैं यहाँ खड़े होकर के बात कर रहा हूँ कि जब समाज का ऐसी संस्थाएं पार्टनरशिप के लिए साथ आती हैं, दुनिया के सारे देश पार्टनरशिप के लिए साथ में आते हैं, तो निश्चित ही परिणाम आता है। और सबसे महत्वपूर्ण जो है वो है पीपल्स पार्टिसिपेशन। और पीपल्स पार्टिसिपेशन बने, वो जो है जन आंदोलन बने, ये बनाने की जिम्मेदारी हम सब की है। हम यहाँ से यही प्रेरणा लेकर के जाएं कि हम पानी का सदुपयोग किस तरह से हो, पानी का पुनः उपयोग किस तरह से हो, और पानी किस तरह से ज़मीन के अंदर जा सकता है, इसके लिए हम सब लोग यहाँ से प्रेरणा लेकर के जाएं, यहाँ से जो है प्लेज लेकर के जाएं। और मैं आखिरी बूंद के लिए जो है कैंट आरओ को, क्योंकि उन्होंने इसको स्पॉन्सर किया है, और साथ ही साथ में आईटीवी को, इन सब को और आर्ट ऑफ लिविंग सब का अभिनंदन करना चाहता हूँ कि ये जो चौथा और सबसे महत्वपूर्ण घटक है, इस घटक पर इन्होंने काम करना प्रारंभ किया है। और ये प्रेरणा का पुंज जो यहाँ से निकलेगा, ये जो प्रेरणा का प्रकाश यहाँ से उत्सर्जित होगा, ये निश्चित ही इस देश को आखिरी बूंद की नौबत न आए ऐसी परिस्थिति में ला करके खड़ा करेगा। और इसीलिए मैंने विश्वास के साथ में कहा कि मैं यहाँ खड़े होकर के कह सकता हूँ कि कभी इस देश में आखिरी बूंद नहीं आएगी। आप सबको बहुत सारी शुभकामनाएं, आप सबको बहुत सारा अभिनंदन, बहुत सारा धन्यवाद। कार्तिकेय का बहुत सारा आभार ज्ञापित करता हूँ कि इन्होंने मुझे अवसर दिया कि मैं यहाँ आ सका और मैं गुरु जी का दर्शन कर सका। यहाँ जो कुछ काम हो रहा है उसकी थोड़ी सी झलक, हालांकि मुझे जस्ट ग्लिम्स मुझे दूर दूर से देखने को मिला, लेकिन साथ ही साथ में मुझे भी ये प्रेरणा मिली कि मुझे यहाँ आकर के एक दो दिन में जो काम वास्तव में हो रहा है उसे देखने की आवश्यकता है, ताकि मैं भी लोगों के बीच में जा कर के ये कह सकूं कि हमने काम जो है देश में इस दृष्टिकोण से काम हो रहा है, इस रास्ते में हम सब लोग भी मिल कर के इस दृष्टिकोण से काम कर सकते हैं। आप सबको बहुत सारी शुभकामनाएं। जय हिंद।
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat ji, who's of course the Union Minister for Jal Shakti in the Government of India, for your address. और आपके शब्दों से ज़रूर यहाँ पे बिराजे लोगों को और हमारे दर्शक जो हमें अभी ITV नेटवर्क के चैनल्स पर देख रहे हैं, उनको ज़रूर प्रेरणा आएगी, ताकि वो सब भी इस मुहिम में जुड़ें। हम सब आखिरी बूंद का प्लेज लें, ताकि ज़रूर भारत में और पूरे विश्व में हमारी अगली बूंद कभी आखिरी ना हो। I now want to proceed further in the program to request Gurudev Shri Shri Ravi Shankar ji to launch the ITV network Aakhri Boondh mobile app. Yes, through this mobile app, Gurudev will take the pledge of Aakhri Boondh, and then we encourage all of you to take the pledge too further. Union Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat ji, I now request you also to take the pledge to join the movement. As you can see there, Gurudev Shri Shri Ravi Shankar ji has joined the movement. His photo is there on the screen. He is the first individual to take the pledge, a very auspicious start to our Aakhri Boondh campaign. And we in fact encourage all of you assembled here today and watching us on ITV Network's channels to download this app. It's available online, Aakhri Boondh, AAKHRIBOONDH. Download Aakhri Boondh app right now and also take the pledge, because through the day we'll be pledging and hoping to make a world record as well to save water.
On the homepage, click on Take the Pledge. Fill in your name, number and email address. One tap and become part of a world record push. Then tap here to check out our vast library with animations, success stories. Then tap here to take our quiz. Test how much you actually know.
So that's how you can take the pledge. Remember to download the app and take the pledge to save water. It's for a very topical, pertinent, important cause. Let's proceed further now. It's now time to invite on stage our partner for today, an individual who has, of course, helped make today's event possible, Kent CMD, Shri Mahesh Gupta ji. He is going to be launching a new device by Kent RO, which is going to also help all Kent RO buyers to save water. Yes, this is a new device by which water will be saved, water wastage will be drastically reduced. A warm round of applause for Kent's CMD Shri Mahesh Gupta ji.
Honorable Pujya Gurudev Shri Ravi Shankar ji, Honorable Union Minister of Jal Shakti Shri Gajendra Shekhawat ji, Shri Karthikeyan Sharma ji, Managing Director ITV Network, ladies and gentlemen. It's my great pleasure that on this occasion of conserving water, I'm trying to launch a new product which will help to save water. As you know, in India, the problem is water is two issues. One is quality of drinking water, and second is the quantity of drinking water. The quality of drinking water is deteriorating continuously because we are polluting our source of water, which is river. We know the Honorable Prime Minister and Gajendra Shekhawat ji is making great effort to clean Ganga River, and he has promised that we can take water from the rivers in future, but at the moment we are not able to do this. So till that time, the life has to sustain. We need to see that the waters don't get deteriorated, but they are deteriorating. The water is deteriorating, as well as is getting contaminated from the industrial sources. I think I'm not able to move this slide. Okay. Yes, just right behind you. Yeah. Okay. So water availability. Okay, anyway, I think I'll continue. So we all know that water is getting contaminated and we are not able to drink water. I like to invite the recent survey which has been conducted by the Bureau of Indian Standards for the 14 cities where the quality of water has been found, and it has been found that the water is not drinkable, even what is supplied by municipalities. So what people need to do? So people need to move and then purify the water. The best source of purification of water is the product which we have been marketing is a reverse osmosis water purifier. In this reverse osmosis water purifier, why it is a better product is because it removes even what is soluble in water, besides bacteria and viruses. Now, the issue with the reverse osmosis water purifier, as we know, is it makes a good quantity of water, good quality of water, but part of the water goes as a wastewater through the system. Why it is wasted? Because the impurities in water are withdrawn through this reject water. So we were very much concerned on this. We have been improving the recovery of the water in the system, but we were not able to get a complete solution. So our scientists sat down and talked how we can do this. We improved the recovery to 50% now instead of 25% so that we can take out more water from the system. So what to do with this water? We recycle this water back into the main storage tank. So if you have a storage tank of 1,000 liters per hour, you take only 20 liters of water. On that 20 liters of water, you reject about 10 liters of water. The 10 liters of water in a day, if you can pump it back to the main tank, then you have virtually no wastage of water. Then the problem came in how to pump this water back, how a consumer can pump this water back. So we came out with this device in our purifier itself. We enhanced the capacity of the pump. We put some non-return valves in the system. We put some electronic control system in the system so that whatever water is coming in through a pipe, we'll install the pipe by ourselves and put back that 50% water back into the overhead tank. And that will not cause any harm to the water which is there in the tank because it has been purified and put back into the tank. And we have done a laboratory report on the quality of water which comes out, and it has been proved that there is no wastage of water by this system, which we are taking honor today in presence of Pujya Gurudev and the Honorable Minister to launch this product. Can I request you, Gurudev, to launch this product, please? ये माइक चल रहे हैं तो
You can just explain it for our audience.
Well, the question has been asked by the Honorable Minister that you are putting load into the main tank by putting back this water. What is actually happening is, in the main storage tank of 1,000 liters overhead tank, we are only withdrawing a good 10 liters of water. And we are not adding back any chemicals back into the system. So we are not disturbing this tank quality of the water. And only good water is coming out from the system. It was not feasible earlier because the pump did not have the capacities and the non-return valves were not available at that time. So that has been provided.
45% or 50% water which was being wasted.
Yes.
Now can be.
Absolutely, sir. You are not wasting now with the reuse on the system. What you talked about reuse of water, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, CMD of Kent, Shri Mahesh Gupta ji, for joining us on stage, and of course the dignitaries for launching this special device which will now enable you to reduce your water wastage, and of course at the end of the day will participate in this Aakhri Boondh campaign of water conservation and saving water.
And now I would request our host, Shri Ravi Shankar ji, to present the keynote to all of us here.
Honorable Minister of Water Resources, Government of India, and then ITV's Karthik Sharma, dignitaries here, and my dear ones. This is so timely that we are waking up for the reality of what we need to do in an emergency footing. अभी आपने सुना हमारे आदरणीय मंत्री जी से, शेखावत जी से, कि गंगा का पानी अभी साफ है। मैं आपको बताऊं, ये वाला कुंभ जो गया, ये नहीं, इससे पहले वाले जो कुंभ में जब हम गए थे, इतने सारे लोग उसमें नहा रहे थे, मुझे पाँव रखने का भी मन नहीं हो रहा था उसमें, क्योंकि कानपुर के पास सारे टैनरी की पानी उसमें जाती थी। आपने देखा होगा 2016 में हम लोगों ने जमुना के किनारे हमने वर्ल्ड कल्चरल फेस्टिवल ऑर्गेनाइज किया, विश्व सांस्कृतिक। उसका मुख्य उद्देश्य यही था कि जनता का वहाँ ध्यान आकर्षण किया जाए, वो कितना गंदा पानी है जमुना जी में, और जमुना का पानी साफ हो, गंगा का पानी साफ हो, तभी देश का जो है जीव नाडी ठीक होगी। जीव नाडी है, जीवन की धारा है गंगा और जमुना। ऐसे ही यहाँ दक्षिण भारत में भी कावेरी है और अन्य बहुत से नदियाँ हैं। आपने देखा होगा पानी को लेके कितना यहाँ झगड़ा होता रहता है कर्नाटक और तमिलनाडु के बीच में, सुप्रीम कोर्ट तक जाके आए। तमिलनाडु में 85 नदी है सिर्फ रिकॉर्ड में, वहाँ अभी धरती में कोई नदी ही नहीं है। जब ये सब पता लगाया हमारे टीम ने कि हमने नाग नदी से शुरू किया, अभी 19 नदी का अपना तमिलनाडु में काम चल रहा है। एक 1000 से अधिक वाटर बॉडीज अपन लोगों ने तमिलनाडु में अभी ठीक कर रहे। हम क्या करते हैं, जल का स्रोत है हमारे पास, उसमें गंदगी फेंक देते हैं, गटर पूरा वहाँ चला, गटर का पानी चला जाता है। तो हम इस पर एक जागरूकता समाज में लाना आवश्यक समझा। समाज के ये तीन त्रिवेणी जब एक साथ हो जाते हैं, सरकार, सामाजिक संस्थाएं और माध्यम, मैं समझता हूँ बहुत शीघ्र ही और सुचारू रूप से काम बनेगी और इस समस्या का समाधान हम ला सकते हैं। यही दक्षिण भारत में कई जगह वाटर टेबल 1200 फीट नीचे चला गया था। और कौन सी जगह? चिकमंगलूर डिस्ट्रिक्ट जैसी जगह पर जब वहाँ वेदवती नदी का पुनरुज्जीवन हमारे नागराज और टीम ने, लिंगराज जो ये सब टीम लग के शुरू किए, अब पानी 20 फुट में, 15 फुट में ऊपर आने लग गया। जहाँ जहाँ नदी की, इसमें क्या है, एक और बात बहुत आवश्यक है हमको ध्यान देने का, हमारे फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट को भी साथ में लेना पड़ेगा। कुछ साल पहले क्या हुआ, फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट को ग्रीनरी जल्दी लानी थी, हरियाली, तो आप देखेंगे जहाँ भी देखो वहाँ अकेशिया पेड़ भारत का नहीं है, जल्दी आ जाता है मगर उसके ऊपर एक पक्षी भी नहीं बैठती है। हम ऐसे पेड़ों को, बबूल के पेड़ों को जगह जगह से लेके आए, भारत में जगह जगह लगा दिया, और नदी की स्रोत में जब ये पेड़ लगाया, वो वहीं पर वो पानी चूस लिया उसने, नदी में पानी खत्म हो गई। तो डिफॉरेस्टिंग करना पड़ेगा अकेशिया जैसे पेड़ों से, फिर अफॉरेस्टेशन करनी पड़ेगी हमें। जो यहाँ की धरती की जो पेड़ होंगे, पौधे होंगे, हर व्यक्ति का ये धार्मिक कर्तव्य माना गया इस देश में, हम पेड़ उगाएं। कम से कम 5 पेड़ लगाना चाहिए हर एक आदमी को, एक बरगद, एक नीम, एक आम, ये पीपल का पेड़, इस तरह के जो पवित्र पेड़ जिसको हम मानते हैं हमारे संस्कृति में, इन पेड़ों को उगाना आवश्यक है। इन पेड़ों के जरिए फिर पानी आने लगेगा, जमीन का पानी भी ऊपर होने लगेगा। और यदि हम ये अकेशिया जैसे पेड़ लेके आते हैं और जो नदी भी है वो भी सब सूख जाएंगे, इसलिए हमें इनको भी साथ में लेना पड़ेगा। बहुत कन्विंस करने के बाद 8-10 साल इसमें लगे हमारे फॉरेस्टर्स को, फॉरेस्ट ऑफिसर्स को कन्विंस करने पर, अब ये लोग तैयार हो गए कि ये जो पेड़ है जो पानी खींच लेता है, उन पेड़ों को निकालें, वो भी वो नदियों के स्रोत पर। फिर अभी परसों ही दहीबाड़ा में हमने एक नदी का लोकार्पण किया। वहाँ पंडित जी क्या बोले, हम गुरुदेव ये नदी में समर्पण करते हैं। क्या समर्पण करेंगे? फल, नारियल, श्रीफल, फूल और एक साड़ी और चूड़ी। नदी को तो माँ मानते हैं, तो माँ के लिए तो फिर साड़ी, चूड़ी, ये सब। मैंने कहा देखो भाई, हम नारियल उसमें डालेंगे, फूल डालेंगे, साड़ी नहीं। वो बाजू में कोई महिला है जो गरीब महिला, उनको साड़ी दिया। यही हमें सबको करना है। यहाँ कर्नाटक में हर साल तुला मास में कावेरी जी का जन्मदिन माना जाता है। पता नहीं हजारों साड़ियाँ कावेरी में देते हैं, वो शगुन करके माता को भेंट के रूप में, कावेरी माता नदी, उनके भेंट के रूप में साड़ियाँ डालते हैं, फिर चूड़ियाँ डालते हैं। इन चीज़ों को डालना नहीं चाहिए। ऐसे ही विसर्जन करने पर, दुर्गा जी का विसर्जन करो, गणपति का विसर्जन करो, पानी को हम प्रदूषण से बचाना हो तो ये सब जो हम कर रहे हैं इनमें हमें बदलाव लाना पड़ेगा। इस बार हमने आवाज़ दी थी यहाँ कर्नाटक में गणपति, जो सिर्फ मिट्टी का, पेंट के बगैर सिर्फ मिट्टी का गणपति बनाओ, फिर उसका विसर्जन करो। तो ये उससे काफ़ी कुछ प्रदूषण पानी का कम हुआ, मगर अभी पूरा नहीं, उसको हमें वो करना पड़ेगा। क्योंकि वो पेंट और ये केमिकल्स जो पानी में गिरते हैं, फिर वो पानी पीने लायक नहीं रह जाता है, वहाँ मच्छलियाँ मर जाती है और बीमारियाँ फैलने लगती। फिर तो इसलिए नदी को प्रदूषण से बचाने के लिए सरकार नहीं कर सकती, तो सामाजिक संस्था ही कर सकती है। और आप जैसे वॉलंटियर्स और माध्यम कर सकता है। माध्यम को कहना पड़ेगा लोगों को कि तुम ये चीज़ें नदी में नहीं डाल सकते हो, ये चीज़ें डालो, फूल डालो, अक्षत डालो, वहाँ जो मछली है वो अक्षत खा लेगी तो। मगर आप साड़ी चूड़ी डालते जाओगे तो एक तरफ से हम शुद्ध पानी बनाते जा रहे हैं, वो इस तरह से प्रदूषण होता जा रहा है। इन सब से हमको बचाना पड़ेगा देश को और देश की नदियों को। अब जितने भी जल स्रोत हैं, इन स्रोतों को शुद्ध करने के लिए जनता को जुड़ना पड़ेगा। सब मिल करके एक काम करें। महाराष्ट्र में कितने सारे नदी, उसका बजट तो बहुत ज़्यादा था, 100 करोड़ की थी, मगर जब लोग श्रमदान दे के किए तो वो तो ये छोटे से रकम में वो काम संपन्न हो गया, 1 करोड़ में संपन्न हो गया। आश्चर्य हुआ लोगों को। जिस प्रोजेक्ट के लिए 100 करोड़ लग सकती थी, आप देखो क्यों, जनता का योगदान था, सहयोग थे, लोगों ने अपना श्रमदान दिया। तो ये देश हमारा है, अपना है। ये भाव हमको तभी उठेगा जब हम देश के लिए कुछ करते हैं, श्रमदान के मार्ग पर चलेंगे तो काम और अच्छा होगा। और हमारे प्रधानमंत्री के द्वारा प्रेरित और हमारे सरकार का तो इसमें पूरा जोर है, पूरा विलिंगनेस है। मैं आपसे अनुरोध करूंगा जल्द से जल्द ही जमुना का भी सफाई हो जाए। नई दिल्ली में स्टार्ट हो गया। हाँ, ये 2011 में हम लोगों ने मेरी दिल्ली मेरी जमुना करके शुरू किया था। हमारे सब वॉलंटियर मिल करके जमुना जी से 800 टन कचरा निकाली, साड़ियाँ, जूते, जरकिन, ये सब जमुना में हम लोग फेंकते थे। हम खुद उसमें गए थे, 2011 की बात है। अब मुझे ये सुन के बहुत हर्ष हो रहा है, जमुना की सफाई के लिए काम शुरू हो गया। क्यों, वहाँ 17 नाले गिर रहे हैं, सुएज, अनट्रीटेड पानी, सुएज वाटर जमुना जी में गिर रही है। अब वो सुएज प्लांट ठीक करना तो सरकार का ही काम है। मुझे हर्ष की बात है कि सुनने को मिला है कि अब हमारा केंद्र सरकार ने इस पर काम शुरू कर दिया है। जमुना जी साफ हो जाए, गंगा साफ हो जाए, ऐसे लोगों को हम ये समझाएं, बताएं, पानी को शुद्ध रखना हम सब का आद्य कर्तव्य है। और फिर क्या करते, हम ये केमिकल फ्री फार्मिंग भी इसके साथ जुड़ना चाहिए। पानी शुद्ध हो गया मगर हम केमिकल फर्टिलाइज़र डाल रहे हैं, ज़मीन को जहरीली चीज़ों से भर रहे हैं, फिर वो पानी, फिर ग्राउंड वाटर शुद्ध नहीं हो सकता, शुद्ध नहीं मिल पाएगा, फिर हमको आर्सेनिक पानी मिलने लगती है। इसलिए साथ ही साथ किसानों को इसके प्रति अवगत कराना पड़ेगा। जल, वायु, ज़मीन और मन, ये चारों शुद्ध हो जाए तो भारत दुनिया के सबसे बड़ी पावर के जगह से निकल आएगा, आगे बढ़ेगी। मन का शुद्धि, जल का शुद्धि, स्थल का शुद्धि और वायु का शुद्धि हो तो ईश्वर की कृपा आप पर पूरा है। मैं इतनी शब्दों के साथ आप सबको बधाई देता हूँ और ये कहता हूँ कि भगवान का आशीर्वाद है आपके साथ, मगर आप सब लोग इस काम में जुटकर, पूरी तरह से जुट के और लोगों को प्रेरणा दीजिए और लोगों को इस मुहिम से जोड़िए। जो ITV ने एक बहुत श्रेष्ठ मुद्दा शुरू किया। अक्सर जर्नलिज्म का यही होता है कि कई दोष है वो दिखाना, ये ज़रूरी है, और कोई अच्छा काम के लिए प्रेरणा देना, ये भी जर्नलिज्म का एक बहुत बड़ा मुद्दा है। ये इस मुद्दे को आपने लिया है और आपका ये मिशन ज़रूर सक्सेस होएगा, ऐसा मैं समझता हूँ। फिर से आप सबको बहुत बहुत बधाई।
From the side of ITV Network, I would like to thank Shri Ravi Shankar ji for sharing and enlightening us today. A big round of applause once again for him.
और जैसे मैंने पहले कहा था कि मंत्री जी के शब्दों से हम सबको ऊर्जा मिलेगी और प्रेरणा मिलेगी, मगर श्री रविशंकर जी आपके शब्दों से आईटीवी नेटवर्क को भी प्रेरणा मिलेगी। जैसे आपने अभी कहा कि न्यूज़ चैनल्स और मीडिया का ये भी महत्व है और ये भी मकसद है कि वो अच्छे कॉज को आगे बढ़ाएं और प्रेरणा दे लोगों को, ऐसे विषयों के बारे में उजागर करवाएं जो हमारे देश को उन्नति की तरफ आगे बढ़ाएगा।
And for things like this only, Uday, ITV Foundation on this auspicious day of launching the Aakhri Boondh will be recognizing the following water champions from across the country.
Absolutely. I request our dignitaries to please stay on stage for a small felicitation ceremony. It's now time to felicitate 6 chosen recipients of some special awards. These are individuals who have given service to the cause of water empowerment, water preservation and water conservation across the length and breadth of India. These are 6 water champions who are very deserving of being felicitated, and that's why we will present them with tokens of appreciation with awards today. So let's begin by calling on stage Salumarada Thimakka. He is over 108 years old, and she's over 108 years old. I invite on stage ma'am to please come on stage to receive the first Water Champion Award of the day from our dignitaries on stage. Salu Marada Thimakka ji, please come on stage. Let's keep the applause going for this distinguished water champion.
Along the Hulikal and Kudur highway stretch. She's planted over 8,000 trees. The Aakhri Boondh campaign honors her.
And we also have a short AV on her. Let's please play that for our audience.
Padma Shri Salumarada Thimakka, also called India's Mother of Trees, is known for planting and tending to 385 banyan trees along the Hulikal and Kudur highway stretch. She's planted over 8,000 trees. The Aakhri Boondh campaign honors her.
Big round of applause there for Salu Marada Thimakka ji, who has certainly not let her age deter her spirit to conserve water and save water and for the service of water in our society. Let's proceed further. Let's now invite on stage Dr. Ayyappa Masagi from Bangalore. Dr. Ayyappa, could we have you on stage? He's our next
Literacy
water
Foundation in
champion,
India,
whom we are
formerly
felicitating
known as
today
Water Warrior,
at this
and has
award
helped
ceremony.
transform water management systems in 13
And we have a short
states.
AV that we'd
The
like to
Aakhri
play of
Boondh
Dr.
campaign
Ayyappa.
honors him.
Dr. Ayyappa Masagi is the managing director at the Water Literacy Foundation in India. He is fondly known as Water Warrior and has helped transform water management systems in 13 states. The Aakhri Boondh campaign honors him.
Let's proceed further. I'd now like to call on stage the Art of Living River Rejuvenation team. Could we please have the entire team on stage? They are our next water champions. Could we also please have on stage Honorable Member of Parliament from Bengaluru, Tejaswi Surya, on stage to also felicitate our awardees. Let's now play out the AV on the Art of Living River Rejuvenation team.
The Art of Living's River Rejuvenation Project has revived 40 rivers in 4 states. The initiative has made water available to 50 lakh people in over 5,000 villages. The Aakhri Boondh campaign honors the Art of Living.
Let's keep the applause going. The entire team is here with us. They have carried out fantastic work, as I said earlier. They have helped rejuvenate 42 dying rivers, helped over 5,500 villages, and their work is across 4 states in India. Certainly, water warriors in the true essence of the term. Moving on, I would now like to request on stage our next water champion, Jagdish ji. He is Assistant Executive Engineer in Karnataka.
Jagdish HR is an engineer who helped provide water to the drought-hit Habakanahalli village in Karnataka. The Aakhri Boondh campaign honors him.
जगदीश जी के लिए तालियां बरकरार रहें. और अब आगे बढ़ते हैं. The next water champion is Khemaram Chaudhary ji. Khemaram Chaudhary ji is with us from Rajasthan. He is a water champion जो राजस्थान से आए हैं आज के समारोह के लिए. Let's have a huge round of applause for our next awardee, Khemaram Chaudhary ji.
Khemaram Chaudhary is a progressive farmer from Rajasthan who has leveraged smart technology to make farming profitable. He conducts regular workshops for other farmers on smart and sustainable farming. The Aakhri Boondh campaign honors him.
And quite a fitting moment, we have, of course, the Union Minister who also hails from Rajasthan. And this water champion was also from Rajasthan. Moving on swiftly ahead to our next water champion, whom we are felicitating today, Anand Maligawad. Could we have Anand ji on stage, please? Our next water champion, whom we are felicitating.
Anand Maligawad revived Bengaluru's 36-acre lake in 45 days. He is a techie heading a community effort to revive 45 lakes by 2025. The Aakhri Boondh campaign honors him.
one last round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for our water champions, our 6 deserving water champions whom we have felicitated today. They have been taking the cause of Aakhri Boondh forward earlier, and now it is our turn to take Aakhri Boondh campaign forward. Okay, Anandji, very briefly, please.
Yeah, very shortly I'll tell. Today, I have been coming to ashram every quarterly, regularly, but this is the product of art of living. And same Vishalakshi Mantap, I met Sri Sri, my father, 10 years back, and I got blessed with rose. He said, you do wonders, go and do it. After that, today only I am meeting him. So, out of art of living, crows together, nice souls come out. One among that, I feel proud to announce today that this is the art of living product.
So truly a homecoming for Anand today. I now request our dignitaries to please take their seats in the audience. Thank you so much, Union Minister in the Government of India for Jal Shakti, Gajendra Shekhawat ji, for taking out time and coming here today and felicitating our awardees. Thank you so much. Thank you, Gurudev, Shri Ravi Shankar ji, our host for today, for also being with us for the start of the program. And thank you, Kartikeya Sharma, founder of ITV Network. I now request you all to... Shri Ravi Shankar ji would also like to felicitate the Union Minister for coming to the Art of Living International Center here in Bengaluru today. Thank you so much, Shekhawat ji, for joining us. I request our audience to please stay with us as we proceed forward to the next program of the day. I request everyone to please seats once again. The day's programs will continue. More dignitaries are yet to join us. There are also several pertinent issues that are still to be discussed. And Shri Ravi Shankar ji will be back with us for the rest of our programs. Gajendra Singh Shekhawat ji is departing. So, of course, we are seeing him off. But please stay in your seats as the day's programs continue forward on this extremely important day. Once again, a reminder to all of our audience here assembled and our viewers also watching us on ITV Network's channels, please download the Aakhri Boondh app and take the pledge as well. Shri Ravi Shankar has taken the pledge. Gajendra Shekhawat has taken the pledge. ITV Network has taken the pledge. Art of Living has taken the pledge. And now it's time for all of you to take the pledge as well as we attempt this world record for the cause of water conservation today.
Right there, and before we move on, let's take a quick look at what ITV Network stands for and what is Aakhri Boondh all about.
Your one stop to join Aakhri Boondh campaign. Download the Aakhri Boondh app. On the homepage, click on Take the Pledge. Fill in your name, number and email address. One tap and become part of a world record push. Then tap here to check out our vast library with animations, success stories. Then tap here to take our quiz. Test how much you actually know.
they don't see the dirty water. It's going in the pipe underneath and they don't know where it goes, how it goes and what it is. What is the quality of it. For them it's enough. They put the detergent or the soap or dishwasher and they clean it and that's it. The water is dried out.
We'd request you all to please take your seats as we're going to start ahead with the day's event. We'd request you all to please take your seats.
Absolutely. Our dignitaries have begun arriving back into the hall. So request our audience to please take their seats as we will once again commence today's program in a very short while from now.
We just request you all to sit down. Please take your seats so that we can start again. And we have very important dignitaries who are going to come here and share their views with us today. We request you all to kindly please take your seats and put your phones on silent.
Well, absolutely. As we, of course, continue proceedings in the Aakhri Boondh campaign launch conclave today that we are having at the Art of Living International Center here in Bengaluru. As we told you earlier, the Art of Living has worked extensively on the issue of water rejuvenation and water conservation. And ITV Network has already started this campaign of Aakhri Boondh. We've been taking sound bites from various influencers, celebrities, and also, of course, important dignitaries in the government of India. And we're going to be taking this ahead with over 1 lakh minutes of airtime.
Now I would like to call on stage His Excellency Errol Seidman, Acting Consul General of the Israeli Embassy, to present his talk for us today here.
Please, let's have a loud round of applause for him. And once again, I request all of you, all of our audience, to please take your seats. Please, we can have these photo ops later. I request everyone to please settle down as we go forward. I'm sounding a bit like the Speaker of Parliament, but I request all of you to please settle down. Please take your seats as we move forward with the next keynote address by the Acting Consul General of the Israeli Embassy.
Good afternoon. Namaskar. Honestly, I think the minister said everything, and I don't need to speak a lot because he spoke. I don't understand Hindi, unfortunately, but I can understand enough to hear all the good things he said about Israel, so that makes it easy for me. But I will start with one picture of the Honorable Minister of Jalshatki in Israel last month. He was attending the largest water conference called WATEC. It's a conference about all the Israeli water technology and what we have to offer. And one quote of his, "Let's come together to create a synergy for saving life, saving water, and in turn, saving the planet." And I think this is the essence of it. It's the partnership, it's doing things together. And to see how we got here, I will start with the story of Israel from the beginning. And this is not... So short video, and we'll go on from there.
In a country with insufficient rain and water sources, planning ahead is the key. The Israel Water Authority was founded to take Israel's water management to the 21st century. Today, Israel is a world leader in wastewater reclamation solutions, purifying over 75% of all its wastewater to the highest level. In the coming years, the plan is to reach a record reclamation of 90% of all national wastewater. To provide more water sources, Israel turned to its 230-kilometer-long coast and revolutionized desalination processes. Today, Israel has the largest and most advanced desalination plant of its kind in the world, with a pumping capacity of 23,000 cubic meters of water an hour. By 2020, desalination will provide 100% of current drinking water levels. The Israel Water Authority has taken drastic steps to stop the depletion of the country's only freshwater lake, the Sea of Galilee. and even succeed in raising it over the last few years. It also is working around the clock to improve the lake's ecological balance. One such method is by populating the lake with special colonies of fish, which help to clean the water. Today, thousands of wells, drilling sites, reservoirs, and filtering facilities around the country are closely monitored by the authority. The result? Israeli citizens enjoy a higher quality of water more than ever before. One of the most efficient changes was the founding of 52 regional water corporations, which serve over 6 million customers around the country. Its first step was to invest heavily in modernizing the standards of the entire system, with a boost of more than 300% in investments in water-related infrastructure. Since founded, the Israel Water Authority is at the forefront of water conservation efforts. These efforts have brought about a nationwide shift to smart water management, resulting in the extensive saving of water annually, equal to the approximate output of 2 large desalination plants. Constantly planning for tomorrow. The Israel Water Authority. Always a drop ahead.
So, as you heard from the Honorable Minister, Israel is mostly desert. There's hardly any rainfall, and it's not working. Thank you. Hardly any rainfall. Over 60% of the country is desert, and the rest is arid or semi-arid. And still, when you look at the most southern city of Israel, Eilat, all the way down at the corner with hardly any rain, you could see it's all green. And how has this happened? So, a short story of Israel was a water-starved country. Today we are exporting. As you've heard, we're exporting water to our neighbors. And I would say there are 3 key elements to how this has happened. Conservation, creating new water, and management. And when we start talking about conservation, the first key element is education. This is what this whole initiative is about. Aakhri Boondh, it's all about education. It's about teaching the next generation. And you know, I grew up in Israel with campaigns 24/7, TV, radio, newspapers. We are drying, we don't have water, stop drinking water. As kids, you can see from a children's series, talking about water all the time. For us, I would almost say it's brainwashed. When I brush my teeth, I have to turn off the tap. When I wash my hands, I get them wet, I turn off the tap, I soap them, and then I turn on the tap again. Because that's the way I was taught, and that's the way I was brainwashed. The second thing about conservation, pricing. According to the law in Israel, the price of water has to reflect the real cost of it. Because, you know, we take water for granted. And for generations, people have been taking water for granted and just assuming it's always there. When you understand how much it actually costs, you have to pump the water, you have to clean the water, you have to salinate the water, you have to transfer the water to the cities, up hills, there's a cost to it. And when you pay that real cost, in Israel, 1,000 liters of water is about 140 rupees. Okay, it's expensive. And farmers are paying even more. It's very expensive. And this makes you understand the value of water and find ways to conserve water. The third thing, technology. Because you can do so many things with technology today. And even with all the education and the conservation, technology is the best way today to save water. You have a picture over here of the drip irrigation, which was talked about, and that is probably the biggest change in farming, in farmers using water. But there are thousands of other technologies, and Israel, the ministries and the government actually supports startups and gives them platforms to try out their new technologies and try out their new ways of saving water. The second thing, and this is a graph. I'll just show you one graph, 50 years. You can see from 1960, the population in Israel has grown almost 400%, about 400%. Quality of life has gone up. People are using a lot more water. And still, you could see the red graph shows the usage of water has hardly gone up. So people are using a lot less water. Second is creating water. Desalination is the first way. Israel desalinates today almost 100% of the drinking water. And you can see there's a map along our coast. We have, nothing like India, but we have a small coast. And we have 6 desalination plants today, including the largest one in the world. And this is expensive, by the way, which goes back to what we were talking about before, the pricing. You have to desalinate water to drink it, but you have to pay for it. And the second thing is recycling water. In Israel, sewage is not waste, right? We use it, we recycle it. Today we've passed the 90% of home water sewage that is recycled and used for agriculture, which is why when I said that farmers pay more for water, it's because they are using this recycled water, which is more expensive to create, but on the other hand, they have endless supply. They know exactly how much water they have. There's water all the time. They get as much as they want. So the farmers are actually happy to pay for it when they know exactly how much they have and when. And then the third thing, of course, is management. There's one water authority in Israel, which aggregates all of the different water bodies. This is a non-political body. It's professional, bureaucrats. They control everything, the whole water grid in Israel. There's one water grid, so all of the water is connected, whether it comes from groundwater, desalinated water, besides the recycled water, which goes for farming. Everything else is on one grid. You can see over here a picture of the pipeline that was built from north to south, which the Honorable Minister was speaking about. Already in the 1950s, Israel was established in 1948. One of the first large-scale projects Israel did had to do with water. Second thing, I think you skipped one. No. Metering. There's a law in Israel that every drop of water has to be metered. Every farm, every household, every industry, water is always metered. So we know exactly what we use, where we use, how much we use. Today, these meters are becoming online. So the cities know how much water you're using before you do. If you have a leak in your pipe, you'll get a call from the city telling you you're using a lot of water, what happened? Most of the time it will be filling a swimming pool, but sometimes it will actually be a leakage in a pipe, and you'll be notified by the city. So, also the minister talked about this, but this all starts from one place, leadership. And over here I'm talking about political leadership, but leadership is not only political. Leadership is spiritual leaders, bringing their people, their followers, convincing them, explaining to them, educating them. It's the leaders in the cities, leaders of civil society. It could be a network that decides to take on itself, a good cause. And our founding father, David Ben-Gurion, he was our first prime minister, he had a vision, I will make the desert bloom. And as we saw, this desert is blooming. But another understanding, which is very important, is water, like many other, I would say, climate issues, it's not an issue of one country. If you solve your water issue, but your neighbor is polluting the water, it won't help. Same as air. So leadership has to understand also partnership. And if I go into the India-Israel partnership, this is a picture, 2 pictures of Prime Minister Modi when he visited Israel in 2017. You see, there's a Jeep over there. That Jeep had a desalination plant, a mini desalination device in the back, which was later gifted by Prime Minister Netanyahu to Prime Minister Modi when he visited here in 2018. But when they met, they founded 7 MOUs, and one of them had to do with water, a strategic water partnership. Because again, understanding that you can't solve the problem in one country. And this is a global world. India and Israel are friends, and to solve an issue, it has to be solved all around. And this partnership is not only on the level. You can see there's a map of over 30 projects happening today in India, all across the country and across sectors. Some of them on the federal level and union level. You have a big project today in UP, a big pilot trying to aggregate 50 villages into one holistic approach to water. But we have projects happening on the government level, the state level. There were in Bangalore itself, there's an Israeli company called Tahal, which has won different tenures with the Bangalore BBMP, I think it's called, Bangalore water thing, and to upgrade the pipelines. There's the largest drip irrigation project in Asia. It's in Ramtal, where 24,000 acres of land are being drip irrigated. This is a Karnataka government project, which is using obviously Israeli technology and Israeli companies. We have centers of excellence, which are farming centers where Israeli experts and Indian experts work together. They utilize Israeli technology and Indian, well, they have all the experience, right? Israel is very young and India has been farming for generations. So this together, this technology and experience allows them to come up with new ideas and new technologies which benefit both countries. And these centers train farmers. There were over 1.5 lakh farmers trained in these centers until today. And a big focus of these centers is on water technology. And how do we have more yield with less water? Because this is the problem the farmers are facing today. NGOs like Art of the Living Project, this is a project where we work together with Amrita University in Kerala after the floods. You know, one of their biggest problems was drinking water when there's no electricity. And we found an Israeli startup that created a device that can clean water, that can recycle the water or purify the water with no electricity. So Amrita University, together with an Israeli Tel Aviv University, are working together. The government provided the units, but they're doing the research to understand how to better utilize these units, how can you scale them, because in India it's all about scalability. So partnerships are all across from union level and state level and NGOs, civil society, business, obviously, companies. One last thing is about partnership, and this is about sharing knowledge. As I said before, you can't solve a problem in one country and let your neighbors suffer. And the knowledge has to be shared all across. Everybody knows some, and together we can come to a much better place. Israel, two of the ways where we do this, one is WATEC, where you saw the picture of the Honorable Minister, sharing the Israeli technologies with whoever wants to come. And by the way, it's every other year, and the biggest delegations every year are from India. Chief ministers and ministers coming to understand private sector, and they want to understand how to utilize this technology. Another one is a book called Let There Be Water, which was written by an American author, but tells the story of the Israeli water revolution, all the way through it, basically what I said now in 5 minutes and 400 pages. Detailed and explains the technologies. It was translated to many languages, including Canada, Naalegu Irali Niru, I think, yes. So knowledge has to be shared, partnerships have to be formed. This is not something anybody can do on their own. Being here speaking on on this platform offered by ITV, which is all about sharing and educating and explaining, is a big honor. And to finish, I will say, you called it I Pledge. So I'm pledging not beyond myself, but on behalf of the State of Israel. Basically, we pledge to keep on working with India, to keep working together, to keep partnering, to make it a much better world for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, His Excellency, for sharing everything, and it is a lot that we can learn from Israel. A big round of applause for him. And a big round of applause for all that Israel is doing for water conservation. We continue our session today, and next we're going to have a panel discussion wherein Uday Pratap Singh would be discussing and moderating a session on water wars and future of cities. It is important as we start and we pledge today to know that what the water problem is, and as I mentioned earlier, that in our cities like Bengaluru and Delhi, we are going to face a water crisis anytime soon. So I request Uday Pratap Singh to come on stage and call his panel.
Well, thank you for that, Richa. And even as our stage gets set up for the next panel discussion for today, which our first panel discussion for the day at the Aakhri Boondh campaign launch conclave is on the very topical and pertinent issue of water wars and future of cities. Everyone across the world is speaking about this, that the next world war will be on water. How do we prevent this? In India, in Asia, and globally is going to be our topic of discussion. And a quick run-through of our panelists. I'll request you all to come on stage in just a couple of minutes from now as our stage is finally set up. We have joining us for this special panel Tejasvi Surya, who is Honorable Member of Parliament from the Bengaluru South constituency, and he's a leader of the Bharatiya Janata Party. We have Joseph Hoover with us for this panel. He's an environmental activist and a cricket writer. Mr. Hoover, could we please have you on stage? Also joining us today for this panel is Dr. Lingaraj from the River Rejuvenation team of the Art of Living. They are, of course, awardees here today as well, water champions. Also joining us is author and commentator Sahana Singh. Sahana Singh, could we please have you on stage? Vishwanath S., activist, is also joining us on this occasion. Vishwanath, could we have you on stage, please? And last but not the least, we have prominent actor Harshika Punacha also with us for this conclave, for this panel discussion. Harshika, could we have you on stage, please? I will now take my seat for the panel discussion.
Each one has one.
So good afternoon, namaskar. I'm Uday Pratap Singh, and it's time to begin our first panel discussion for the day at the Aakhri Boondh launch conclave that we are having today at the Art of Living International Center here in Bengaluru. The topic for discussion is water wars and future of cities. How do we prevent water wars? How important is this issue of water conservation? What is the government doing? What is civil society doing? How are celebrities adding to the cause? What is the national media doing about this? And how can we all take this forward will be the premise of our discussion. Let me begin with you first, Tejasvi Surya. For your opening comments today, on the issue of water conservation, what are you as a young parliamentarian doing for this? Do you believe the youth of the country is concerned about this because it will be their generation and the future generation who will be most impacted by water? We already heard what the union government is doing through Gajendra Singh Shekhawat ji. Your opening comments, Tejasvi.
Thank you so much, Uday. And at the very outset, I would want to thank ITV Network for championing this very important cause. There couldn't have been a better time than now. And I also thank Art of Living for being such a wonderful host. And under the leadership of Gurudev, river rejuvenation, lake rejuvenation is something that Art of Living and its army of volunteers have been so dedicatedly doing. 5 months ago, after I was voted in as Member of Parliament for Bangalore South, one of the most important agenda items that I had was to address the grave water challenge that Bangalore is facing. The report of the Niti Aayog on the groundwater levels in the country, especially in our urban centers, is something really scary and paints a very grim picture. So when I approached the Honorable Minister for Jal Shakti, because the Prime Minister is so keen on rejuvenating groundwater in our cities, I was told that the Jal Shakti Mantralaya only does work related to rural water resource management, and cities and urban urban water management is not under the ministry. It is done by the Urban Development Ministry. Therefore, the very first thing that we have tried to do is to talk to the concerned ministries and ensure that, just like how Ariel mentioned in his earlier presentation, that there is going to be a uniform authority, a unified single authority which will manage water resources in the country, both at the rural level as well as in the urban level, because water as a resource must be comprehensively looked at. This is one. Two, it may come as a matter of great dismay to all of us that our city, Bengaluru, is not doing very effectively in terms of rainwater harvesting as well as water recycling. Though we have so many sewage treatment plants that, which are being constructed at a very laggard pace, the enforcement of the corporation rules and regulations related to rainwater harvesting, though it mandates that there must be a rainwater harvesting permission and a system in place before an occupancy certificate is given, the occupancy certificate is given by officials without due verification owing to corruption. Therefore, I have been trying to talk to the corporation authorities here to enforce the letter of the law in spirit and action. Third and most importantly, Bangalore excessively relies on groundwater apart from the Kaveri water that we get from a very, very long distance. Therefore, indiscriminate usage of borewells and indiscriminate digging of borewells in Bangalore, unlike other cities in India, is a very big menace. The law needs some corrections, legislation needs some corrections. The amount of corruption that is involved in and political interference that is involved in getting clearances for digging of borewells is something that I have learned is extremely menacing, and that needs to be addressed on a war footing. Lastly, the whole issue of water conservation, climate change, sustainable development, all of these things firmly stands on a pedestal of awareness. People should be aware that water is a very, very precious resource and it must be utilized in that manner. Therefore, I have plans of talking to the union government and also the state government to tax water, to price water in such a manner that we ensure that water is used by people in a more responsible fashion. And lastly, Uday, in 10 seconds, what is more important is to talk to the younger generation today. Because unless we have a behavioral change among people, that this is a very important resource that needs to be changed, nothing can happen. A citizens movement in Bangalore, led by a few NGOs, is trying its best to rejuvenate our lakes and to revamp a very, very important river in Bangalore city called Vrishabhavati.
No, I was just going to come to that. I was just going to come to that. In fact, I will come to the citizens' involvement point in just a bit. A quick follow-up question, though, to you itself, Tejasvi. Since you are on the issue of water conservation, we spoke earlier to Gajen Shekhawatji. He spoke about river rejuvenation as well, and particularly the efforts of the government as far as the Ganga is concerned in Namami Gange. Just a couple of days ago, in fact, Prime Minister was in Kanpur to take stock of the situation himself. But what about lake rejuvenation in Bengaluru? You often criticize the Congress and JDS for this issue earlier. We know that people in Bengaluru and this part of the country do vote a lot on civic issues. What is your government, now that the BJP is in power in Karnataka, and you as a young MP from the area, going to do about lake rejuvenation? We've seen the pitiable condition of some of the lakes in this area, particularly the Varthar Lake. What is going to be done?
Quickly, Uday, point one. In 2015, rupees 950 crores was sanctioned under the Amrut scheme by the central government to the state government to effectively use it to rejuvenate Bangalore's important lakes. Unfortunately, it was not done. In the last few months, the scheme has now taken off, and there are actually initiatives on the ground to detoxify the Bellandur Lake, which has brought infamy to the city as the only water body that catches fire, defying even laws of chemistry and physics. But there is work that has already taken place. As far as my constituency is concerned, very recently there was an artificial breach of a very important lake at Hulimavu, creating so much of a problem to all the local residents. It was a man-made breach. Therefore, two policy decisions have been taken. All lakes in Bengaluru city henceforth will be maintained by the Bangalore City Corporation and not under the Bangalore Development Authority. Finally, our city's lake has a father and a mother who we can ask as to who is in charge of the city's lakes. Till these days, the Bangalore city lakes were truly orphaned, but today we have an accountable authority. That's one positive development. Point two, there have been at least insofar as the Hulimavu Lake is concerned, we have started a project to resuscitate and rejuvenate the whole lake by using the internationally acclaimed principle of polluter pays. There are more than 10 acres of the lake that has been falsely and illegally encroached by a few builders and also by a government agency, the BDA. Therefore, I have set up a small committee headed by the BDA commissioner and also overlooked by the urban DC, who will bring together the 2 or 3 big developers, the private developers who have encroached the land there, including the BDA, who will bring together resources to ensure that the lake will be better maintained, and we will have a truly world-class Hulimavu lake infrastructure in about 1 year from today.
Well, we certainly hope for that. And we hope also bipartisan support on the issue. Harshika Punacha, let me get you in here now. I've spoken to a number of celebrities on this issue as well, from Katrina Kaif to Dulquer Salman to Sonam Kapoor. Some of those sound bites, of course, we were playing earlier. And they spoke, very passionately about the issue of water conservation. The question, I want you to address, Harshika, is how can celebrities like yourself, help this cause of water conservation going forward? Because a lot of the youth in the country and a lot of people often listen to celebrities, sometimes more than their parents, and sometimes more than politicians like Tejasvi. So how can celebrities like yourself help this cause, and how important is the cause of water conservation for yourself?
Good afternoon, everyone. So today, I don't want to talk for the state or for the country. I think it starts in our house. So it's all about conserving water at our house. You just switch on the shower and then you lose so much water. You can use just one bucket of water. That is the easiest way of saving water. And men start shaving, they have the tap on. You can keep it off, you can finish shaving and then switch on the water back. So there are so many ways of saving water at our house, When we start doing it at a small scale, I think it will work in a bigger way. Because each person, like you said, often people listen to the celebrities because, they watch our movies and they like something about us, what we do in the movies. And most of the time in our movies, we have a meaning, we have some message to the people telling, let them follow this. Maybe it's about education, it's about something to do which will change the people. So after this water scarcity has come into the limelight and everybody has been talking about this, I feel now in future I want to do a movie about this, about water, about saving water, how important water is for all of us. Because I remember my grandmother used to say this, water, water everywhere, no water to drink. Do you remember this? Yeah? She'd always say, water, water everywhere, there's so much rain, there's so much this thing, but we can't drink that water. We have to, always get the water, filter it and have. And even the RO, I wanted to come there. There's so much water which is getting wasted while it is getting purified. So I think Kent RO is coming up with something where the water is not wasted. The same water is used again. So I think if I have to put it short, I want everybody to change the thought about using water at their household. Now dishwashing. They switch on the tap and then they keep washing, they soap the vessels and then the water is still on and then they use the same thing. Instead, if there is one water which is set with the soap water to wash and then another water which is set to wash the clean vessels, So I think there's a lot of changes which can be done at the household, and that as an actress, I can, put that across to my fans, and I keep doing that more often. So I think looking at the state and the country are, of course, our dignitaries, our politicians will do, but as an actress, I want to tell all the people here to start saving water at home, because my mom used to always do this, even in school. Like, if I switch on the tap and forget, she would keep telling, you should save water, you should save water. I think parents should keep telling the children, the youngsters, that stop wasting water, stop wasting, wherever if you find the water switched on, just switch it off.
And possibly schools as well. The education
schools
should
as
start
well, exactly, like they have the lunch breaks and the kids just switch it on and leave it. I think that's the best way to stop. And also rainwater conservation, because there's so much, like I hail from Coorg, so there has been so much rain, there has been so much flood, and there's, it all starts, is what I feel, is because of deforestation, but I don't want to get there right now, because that's again another topic to discuss upon, and that's another part where, they want railways to come to Coorg, they want to cut more trees, and there will be more water scarcity. But, that's a different topic.
Yeah.
So
we saw, of course, the RA controversy recently as well.
Exactly.
But, that's an important point that you, of course, raised on rainwater harvesting. I mean, that's something that's really scary, isn't it? When you have places, as you said, which have so much rainfall,
exactly.
they also have drought, in those regions. That's how that's absolutely shocking, and that's uncalled for. So efforts need to be made in that direction. But Dr. Lingaraj, if I can come to you next. You and of course the Art of Living River Rejuvenation team have been awarded today for your stellar work. So of course you've done a lot in this direction, and we hope you certainly will do more. But I want you to just talk about some of the difficulties or hindrances you have faced as well. So perhaps we can tackle them, and the public can know about it as well to aid and abet your work better.
Thank you. Actually, I was part of the government before coming here. As Surya was discussing, the whole objective of saving water was dissected. So many departments to participate and do the needful. One thing. Another thing is water has water, or the nature provides the water, and there is renewability. And it has a very good management technique to provide water, not only the human beings, for the entire life system. That is where I picked up this river rejuvenation. River is a process, it is a natural process which takes the sources, the rainfall, and that gets it on the surface and the subsurface and in the vegetation cover, and it provides the water from soil, microbes in the soil to the aerial beings. That is the natural management technique that was there, but which is being distorted. So to revive it back, the concept of river rejuvenation evolved. Coming to the Bangalore issue, Bangalore is sitting on a ridge which has two rivers mainly, the Arkavati and the South Pennor. The Nandi Hill Ridge and the Bannerghatta Hill Ridge, it is a continuous elevated point on which the city is situated. So if we pollute 400 square kilometers of Arkavati, it spreads to the 4,000 kilometers of the whole river basin, which reaches the Kaveri. Similarly, South Pennor, it goes to the next state also. So the urban watershed management is very, very important. And I, as a Bangalorean, born and brought up here, and I could see, I was able to swim in the tank and drink the water there, but it is really pains me to see the present situation. So there should be the participation of the community. They have to vote. We are talking of the polluted water. Should we not prevent it from the household itself? That's what we did some time back, giving the bioremedial solutions house-wise also. So that has to happen starting from the individual, the household, to the area. That we have many welfare associations. They should take the responsibility. And the government should integrate all this. It is good that Jal Shakti has come to integrate that. That is happening. And the agriculture side also. The river means it is not just a stream course, it is a network of stream covering millions of villages, and everywhere it is just like a cellular. There is a geological method of classifying into micro watershed. Each micro watershed matching a set of villages, we have to work. So it rains everywhere, but we have to conserve that water. Absolutely. The groundwater recharge is very important. In a session, it was told we are depending more on groundwater than the surface water. So the groundwater recharge, what we are doing, has given very good result, and it will definitely rejuvenate the river.
And at the end of the day, Vishwanath, the problem is here. It's here to stare us in the face. Human beings tend to be very selfish. They think for the day. I'm sure there are several people in our country who are like, oh, if water will dry up, it'll happen 50 years down the line, 100 years down the line. Why should we care about it? But the problem is here to stay, isn't it? Already you have a situation where, some of our earlier speakers today said, you have Karnataka, in fact, Shri Ravi Shankar ji said, you have Karnataka and Tamil Nadu fighting over water. Haryana and Punjab are fighting over water. You a situation last year in Shimla, one of the most prominent hill stations and tourism destinations in our country, where there was a water shortage last summer. And it didn't happen this year, but less tourists went there because it was in their mind that, there was a water shortage last year. This year itself, a farmer, friend of mine, has had to dig deeper because his borewell dried up this summer for the first time ever. So the problem is here, why are we not acknowledging it, Vishwanath?
I think we are faced with the crisis almost at our doorstep, and especially in our city, those who are dependent on water, let's say if they get it from the piped water supply, they get it twice in a week. And if you're dependent on borewells, your borewells are going dry in the periphery of the city, so you're dependent on tankers for water. So I think a large number of citizenry now are actually faced with the crisis in their face. But here's the solution space. We need a partnership between Samaj, Sarkar, and Bazaar. Samaj as society, as individuals and as society, and Bangalore is showing the way with a lot of lake groups working on water conservation, art of living, doing its fabulous work. Individuals doing a lot of nice work. Anand is there, Ayyappa must give us here, doing some fabulous work. Society is doing its job. Sarkar is doing its job, but the challenge for Sarkar is to reimagine governance of water. Water is a state subject. It's not a national subject, it's a state subject. So states have the liberty to plan based on the local situation for water, which is a big advantage. But our institutions are unfortunately 20th century institutions. The Bangalore Water Supply and Sewerage Board, which is responsible for water supply, or the Groundwater Authority, which is just a 6-member authority when this city has 400,000 bore wells, right? So how do we reimagine our institutions to be capable of dealing with the problem is the big challenge before the Sarkar. Then to get the monies for it. We need large investments in infrastructure, especially water, because the city's economy runs on water. This city generates 60% of the GDP of the state. It's $1 billion providing tremendous livelihoods and employment. So commensurate to that, we need to invest in water, in large water infrastructure. And that is true for Chennai, Hyderabad, Bombay, Delhi, every city. We are underinvested in infrastructure. So Sarkar has to think about institutions of governance as well as investment. And finally, Bazaar. The youngsters are now coming out with a whole plethora of new technologies, app-based, to those such as metering, such as tariff. Now, they need to be incubated and included as part of the solution in a sphere which is more conducive. The environment has to be more conducive. Unfortunately, the water institutions are not geared towards encouraging market activities. The BWSSB is composed of civil engineers, and their job is to get water to the city. Their job is not to encourage markets, the private sector, to participate, right? So if we are now able to imagine those institutions to be able to do that, then we are surely able to crack the problem. And finally, we have to look at the regulator. Every state has the State Pollution Control Board as the regulator, but we know how effective they have been. We have to re-examine the role of the regulator, see why they are underperforming. Why is it that we see all our rivers and lakes polluted and industrial effluents flowing in our streams, when the job of the State Pollution Control Board was exactly to control that? So how do we reimagine the State Pollution Control Board to be able to do its job effectively? And this requires a deep think, which is systemic and structural. And I think a lot of people have to come together to do that thinking.
Okay. Sahana, if I can come to you next. We spoke about government's role, members of parliament role, politicians' role. We spoke about celebrity and influencers' role. We also spoke about how organizations like Art of Living are helping the cause. What about civil society, though? Civilians, the Aam Aadmi, the Aam Aurat in the country. What should be their role? How can they contribute to it? Because they're watching us today in the audience here and, of course, on ITV Network's channels as well. What can they do? What should be civil society's role?
Thank you. Thank you for making me a part of this wonderful panel. Very famous people that I've been following for a long time. So one thing that I find is that everybody is talking about saving water from the taps, use less water for bathing, shaving. That's very important. But if you look at it, it's actually a very small amount of water that is being consumed. What we really need to look at, the elephant in the room, is consumerism, mindless consumerism. So over the years, now that things have gone cheaper, right? We can buy jeans, we can buy t-shirts, we can buy cars, we can buy a whole lot of things that we could not afford before. And that is making us mindless consumers. And so people often don't realize that when you're eating something like, say, lamb, or your food choices, basically, and the products that you use in your daily life, those are having water impact. Those are actually causing a lot of water consumption. We don't realize that. You think I just had one bucket of water, a bath with one bucket of water, so I have saved water. You have not. If you're wearing leather jackets, you're wearing leather shoes, you're having a number of handbags, you're having hundreds of t-shirts, you are a mindless consumer and you're using a lot of water. So that is something I wish was highlighted more by the media, and the civil society also becomes aware of these things. And that's something in my writing in the last 20 years that I have highlighted this many times. Your food choices, your product choices, nowadays, even the makeup that we use and the medicines that we consume, they are all polluting water immensely. Because we are using these face scrub, which was made of those micro beads, which is simply going out in the environment and killing fish. So it's also about environmental preservation. So that is something I want to highlight. And the other thing is, from the government point of view as well, I lived in Singapore for a very long time, and I've seen what water governance is. Water governance, if you want to see, Israel is of course a very big example, but if you want to see a small example, it is Singapore. Right from the top to the bottom, everybody knows the importance of water, and they pay very high for water, right? And then you should see the water policy. The water department is not some side department, where with all the other departments taking the center stage. Water department is one of the most important departments. And if you see the first Prime Minister of Singapore, Lee Kuan Yew, he's a person even Prime Minister Modi admires tremendously. So he said, all other ministries have to bend at the knee when it comes to water survival. So water department, they have one integrated department. In fact, the Jal Shakti ministry that has been formed has actually been inspired by what Singapore has done, where they have an integrated water and wastewater ministry. So there is a deep understanding that water policies will impact every other ministry, every department, right? So you can't just ignore it. So when you make water policies or when you make any policy, you have to be aware of the water impact, the water footprint, right? So that is something I would like to highlight.
No, that's a very valid point. And in fact, as Dr. Lingaraj said also earlier, that government's job is integration. So that's why perhaps it's great that a ministry like this one has been integrated into Jal Shakti. Joseph Hoover, you're sitting closest to me, but I'm coming to you last, so apologies for that. But you are, of course, a cricket writer as well and an environmental activist. Interestingly, the fact that you're a cricket writer leads me to also issue this appeal to cricket bodies and sports bodies that even when fields are watered, pitches are watered, fields are watered, then there should be a more effective way of watering the fields perhaps, so that less water is used. The job is done, but water is not wasted. So perhaps you can speak about that issue as well. But also, Mr. Hoover, since you have, of course, been into environmental activism for several years now, what do you believe is the main cause for the situation of water that we have in our country? Is it deforestation that Hansika was pointing out earlier? Is it lack of rainwater harvesting? Is it water pollution, the lakes that Tejasvi was mentioning, or that Sahana was speaking about, the industries that are polluting the most? What is the main cause of the situation of water that we have, and also sports bodies?
Yeah, it's a culmination of all these factors. When we talk about the lake pollution, we often talk about Belandur, one of the famous lakes we have in Bangalore, for all the wrong reasons. Like I live in a place called Rajarajeshwari Naga. It's a beautiful layout. There's a lake called Halgehodrili Lake. That's such a pathetic sight that when you go there, the water stinks. I was there the last weekend. You have a beautiful lake. It's almost about 8.5 acres. And then you have residents around the place. It's just common sense for the lake authority or the BBMP, for anybody, to ensure that the sewerage is let out through another channel. The sewerage enters the lake. It's a beautiful body, thanks to the rains, copious rains that we had, thanks to the climate events. That lake is devastated. Now the government has earmarked 15 crore for that, for rejuvenation. Unless they clear out the sludge from there, first they need to desalt, and then they need to rechannel the sewerage line somewhere else. There's no point. That's one aspect. Another lake I talk about is Dorekere in Chikalsandra. It's a massive lake, very, very big lake. Now there what happens is they have a secondary tertiary plant. Water is cleaned and then sent into the lake.
You get any number of species of birds coming in there. But there I notice there are about 7 channels of sewerage coming in. You clean the water at one end, and then you have channels coming in, sewerage water coming to the channel. So the lower lake is destroyed. That is one aspect. When you talk about the rainwater harvesting, people have failed. That is we have to be blamed, not the government. The government has told us that we need to do certain things, but we are not doing that because we are too happy. We want to throw the ball into somebody else's court and blame others. We need to blame ourselves. It's our mistake. Now, when we talk about lakes or water, the rain or whatever, end of it, everything matters to where the rain comes from. When there is so much of deforestation, how do you expect rains to come during the time it should come? This monsoon, the late monsoon we had extreme climate events where there were flooding in Maharashtra, in Karnataka, in Kerala, and just before that, a few weeks before that, we had drought conditions. Now, there was this Dharmasthala chief, Dr. Virendra Hegde, who appealed to people not to come to the shrine because there was no water. But the entire thing changed when there was so much of water coming in, then they said, okay, it's opened up. So we have to blame ourselves. We always are blaming the government. We are the people who make the government. So we have to make the government answerable to us. Now today when I speak, I have a young MP, energetic youngster who's got a lot of promise. I appeal to him on this stage saying that, first let's look at stopping deforestation. There are about 21 projects coming up the Western Ghats. Climate scientists have said what is going to impact us in the next few years. There's not going to be water in Bangalore. Now the IISc, the Indian Institute of Science, has also come out with a study saying that thanks to the deforestation in the Western Ghats, this impact of climate change has happened in Kerala and in Karnataka. Now, where I come to is, when Mr. Vishwanath spoke about the Pollution Control Board, you need to have a good person there. You just can't pick some guy and say, okay, he's there because he's got a political clout. Yeah. The same thing is happening in Shimoga now. Shimoga, the government has handpicked some officers who have got an inquiry against them and put them in critical habitats. So they're denuding our forests. So this is where it comes to. The government needs to be serious. Okay. We cannot afford to lose forests anymore.
Okay. Well, you issued an appeal to the young MP Tejasvi Surya, so let Tejasvi Surya respond to that appeal. And also, sir, though, you've also made the point that it's not just the government's responsibility. You know, people point fingers at the government, say, what are you doing? Perhaps the government also should point fingers at the public and say, what are you doing now? So perhaps Tejasvi, you can respond to his appeal and also issue a counter appeal to the citizens, to your constituents, to the residents of India, on what you expect from them as well.
Uday, I just want to make 3 or 4 quick points. A couple of things at a macro level and a couple of things at a micro level. Point 1, when has water conservation ever been an electoral issue in India? It shows that as a democracy, we are not serious about important issues that matter to life and death issues in the country. So I think I'll just give you a very quick example. A group of citizens came to me to meet me the other day and said in this particular area an illegal borewell is being dug and the local MLA is giving his political benevolence. And the police authorities have been complained to, the BDA, BWSSB, every authority has been complained to, but nothing is happening. Then I said, go and talk to the local corporator. He said, no, the local corporator said that the other ones, the ones who are digging the borewell are the ones who come out and vote, but you never come out and vote, so I don't want to support you. So if I actually spoke to the authorities and said, in Bangalore South, there should not be one illegal borewell that should ever be dug. But then, if this is not going to be an electoral issue, if people will not demand accountability from public representatives on delivering outcomes based on, say, water conservation and such other things, this will not gain the kind of political attention and political leadership it does require. Point 1. Point 2, I think we also need to think about better cropping patterns in the country. For example, the Kaveri issue. We use we all know that this is a very water challenging zone, but we grow sugarcane, we grow paddy, which are extremely water demanding crops. So this also needs to be rethought about at the national scale and also on the state levels. 3, I think, very importantly, which was mentioned again here, I have seen that there is no coordination between different government agencies. Every different government agency has a different KRA, a different mandate for themselves, and many a times they are contradictory to each other. So even in Bangalore, the challenge is not about managing, the challenge is not about availability of water, the challenge is about better management of water. And I must agree with the point that was made earlier, that unless we rethink of our governance systems, for example, there are so many startups that I have spoken to that are incubated by IIM Bangalore, that are working in IISc, which have had zero interaction with the Bangalore Water Supply Board. In fact, given a choice, I would say the Bangalore Water Supply Board must have a fund which will incubate these kind of startups, new technology that is coming, so that that can be implemented in our governance scale to make it better. I think these multi-pronged initiatives must be thought of and implemented, and the time is now, because the time is running out.
The time is now. I think huge applause for that, that comment, that statement. The time is now. The time is running out. Don't wait for tomorrow. As we said, आपकी अगली बूंद आखरी ना हो जाए, तो इसलिए हम सबको काम करना पड़ेगा. We'll end with an appeal. As Hansika said, she often tells her fans on a lot of things on this issue of water conservation. And as I said, it often helps when actors and celebrities appeal. So what would be your appeal to the people on the issue of water conservation and for Aakhri Boondh? We'll end with that.
I like the way you put it across. Let your next drop not be the last drop. So I think that's a very important thought. We should all think like that. Before, there are so many things. Like Madam said, it's not just about saving water at home, but I think that also has to be done, because only when people change at their household, that's when it'll change in a bigger scale. Because I have seen people who have solar at home who just switch on the water till the hot water comes and waste the cold water. Instead you can use the same water for gardening. You can use the same water to wash your dishes.
Absolutely.
Why do you have to waste the water? So, like this, there are so many things which we need to follow at home. So I think these, like in a bigger scale, like if we tell an industry to stop using water or stop doing things, it's going to take quite some time. Something which can change immediately is the household. We can tell the ladies of the house, we can tell the kids, we can tell the men of the house to use less water, and I think we can make a change.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Warm round of applause for our entire panel over here. Thank you all so much for joining us for the first panel discussion, and there will be more through the day, so stay with us. Thank you.
Thank you. We'd like to thank all our panelists for joining us right now, and thank you so much. We'd be headed for lunch after this in the Annapurna dining hall on the first floor. We have Art of Living volunteers standing across to help you, guide you there. We will commence back at 3 o'clock.